Show. This is the Big O 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 Show.
So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but you know, cuttersedgepro.com does some amazing stuff, and there are the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go. Right, Maiden? Right, Bono? There we go. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Look at our Sylvester palm. It is beautiful. We got another one in the front yard like that. You can take your home and landscaping to the next level. And the artificial turf, look at that. Look at that. The two dinosaurs going at it, huh? Look at that. Gotta love the dinosaurs. Look at them. They like to bite each other's legs. That's what they do. They play with each other and then they bite each other and they piss each other off. It's fun. One is Bono, which is the one farther away from you, and Maiden. She's the girl right here. She's a badass. That's for sure. So anyway, see the flowers are coming out. Very nice. cuttersedgepro.com, folks. This big tree there will start budding that I'm showing you there soon. It'll have all kinds of flowers. I'll post another video and I'll show it to you. This is a backyard where everybody gets to hang out. Over there in that corner there, I put the barbecue and cook. So that way it's the farthest away from the house, you know. If I light myself on fire or somebody else, we're out in the corner away from everybody. There you go. See, getting some flowers coming out, which is a beautiful thing. And I swear by this artificial turf, it always looks phenomenal. I don't have to cut it. I don't have to water it. And so I'm saving a lot of money, hundreds and thousands in the long run, because I'm not watering or, of course, cutting the grass. And you know, here in South Florida, we cut the grass like every 10 to 14 days.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help. When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Yes, sir. Ready to rock and roll. Good afternoon, one and all. Had to make a little bit of an adjustment today to the schedule. Had some personal things to take care of today. I was not at Dolphins camp today. I mean, today's not one of those days that really nothing went on today in camp, actually, except for maybe Jalen Phillips tweaking the ankle, but he was able to continue, and some of the guys on the PUP list and all that kind of stuff. Not really a big day at camp today, so it's good. I didn't really miss much. We'll probably be there tomorrow, actually, before we go over to Hialeah Park and have some fun. So I got all kinds of stuff going on. As always, plenty of stuff to talk about. We will have Joe Schad joining us at 2 o'clock. He has covered the practices and also talked to the boys. I saw Tua address the media today. So got all kinds of stuff to talk about. So we'll get into it. And hopefully, at least the good thing is no bad news coming out of yesterday. Okay? No bad news. Now, the highlight, which was the Tua throw to Waddle, it was actually a pretty cool throw and really more of a fantastic catch by Waddle, tipping it to himself. So that was actually good. And Teron Armstead had a little bit of knee surgery, so he had a scope, and he is still sidelined with Isaiah Wynn, who apparently injured himself doing some football drills, preparing for the season. Tanner Connor, along with Nick Needham, also on the PUP list too. So you got that. So good stuff there with the boys. So nothing really earth-shattering coming out of there, which is good overall. Let's see, what do we got there? Jamie says, good morning, Big O, Sean, and Fins Nation from Torreon, Mexico. I hope everyone is having a great week. It's hump day. Remember to smash the like button, people, and fins up, everybody. So you're in Mexico, huh? You left, you're not in San Jose, California. You're down in Mexico now. Okay, good shit, man. Rosendo says, looks like Justin Herbert is a happy man this morning. Yeah, he got his extension. It's funny because, I'm glad you brought it up. So Justin Herbert gets a 5-year, $262.5 million extension. $218.7 million is guaranteed. He'll make $100 million in his first year. He has a full no trade clause, and the deal averages 52.5 per year, right? And so the narrative, whether it's nationally or locally, which is kind of silly and stupid, Justin Herbert has 2 years left on his current deal. So it's an extension. Is that what I think? That's what I read. He had at least another year left on his deal, so it's an extension. So next year, if Tua balls out this year, he will get the extension. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not a big deal. It's good for Justin Herbert that he got the money. Do I believe in him anyway? No, I still don't believe in him. It doesn't matter to me, all of that. But I don't know why Tua is the subject, because all of these guys, their deals are going to start after their original contracts end. So Tua's original contract hasn't ended yet. They're all 5-year deals because they're first rounders. So you're going through your 4th and 5th years, and then you'll get your extension, right? So Justin will be making all his money in the 6th year.
the same as Tua. So if Tua balls out this year, he will sign that kind of an extension, and it might be even more money. So it's not it's funny because the idiots out there, nationally or locally, are making it sound like he's getting paid right this second. It's an extension. They didn't abolish the contract they have now, and it's starting now. So his contract will kick in at the same time as Tua's contract if Tua stays healthy and balls out this year. It'll be the same thing. But it's funny how people try to make it out to be something that it isn't. Kind of like some of the stupidity last night at the Inter-Miami game that I'll get into that the media started. But this is the same shit that the media does also, right? And then because a lot of you don't think for yourselves, you then follow whatever the person of authority, the athlete, the politician, the whatever financial advisor, whatever. So whatever they say, automatically you just follow like a sheep. You know what I mean? And it's just funny how they make it out to be such a big deal when it's not. It's not a big deal. Tua will get his money too, but he has to ball out. He has to, well, not ball out. He has to, because actually he's played better than Herbert. But he has to stay healthy. That's Tua's thing, is staying healthy. If he stays healthy, he will get money too. And it'll be at the same time as everybody else because it'll be at the end of his extension also. It'll be, at the end of his current contract, the extension will start. What did I do there? Did I do something? I hit something. Did I do anything? Are we good? Are we good? I just want to make sure we're good. Okay. All right. We're good. All right. So anyway, so just kind of funny how they make this whole extension thing sound like it's a negative towards Tua. Oh, well, he's getting paid. When is Tua? Tua's not getting, well, neither is Herbert. He hasn't gotten paid yet. He'll get paid after his 5th year. That big-ass contract will start. Well, guess what? Same thing Tua will get if he ends up balling out. Not balling out, if he ends up staying healthy this year. You know what I mean? So just kind of find it, entertaining that it just, when it comes to Tua, people want to make things out bigger than what they really are. Oh, man. Fill up that Perdomo cigar with a little Cali Kush. Think Blue Dodger says, reminds me of the Kyler Murray situation, getting paid without proving a thing. Yeah. Knight, thank you for the love on the super chat. They paid an 0-1 playoff over 3-year QB. Stupid. Well, what can I tell you? They would have been ripping the Dolphins. They'll rip the Dolphins when they sign Tua too, because you'll have the Tua haters saying, oh, he doesn't deserve it anyway. So it is what it is. What do we have here? If this keeps up, wonder who will be able to buy a ticket. Well, Rosendo, the tickets don't carry the salaries. If you've noticed, the salaries continue to soar, but it's not like the ticket prices are getting out of control or anything like that. Ticket prices for NFL games are still reasonable prices overall. They're not getting crazy. Your ticket prices, Rosendo, don't pay for salaries. That's the money that's hanging out in the owner's ashtray. Just so you'll know. That sometimes some of you fans out there, and Rosendo just, tripped on that wire. You think you're that important, and you're not. Okay? Your money's not that important. It really isn't. Your money's not making that much of a difference. Just so you'll know, tickets aren't shit. That's so small of the pie. It's all advertising, and it's all television revenue or television/platform revenue. That's what carries salaries, Rosendo. Your ticket prices, they don't carry shit. They buy the owner a car and a house or something, and maybe it pays for a general manager or something like that. But ticket sales are not the reason why the salaries are going up, my man. Okay? Just so you'll know. Just quítale la importancia, porque no hay importancia. All right? Just so we get that shit straight, okay? Your tickets don't carry jack shit. So, that's why they could do it throughout the pandemic and there was nobody in the seats and they're still making money. Tons of money. Why? Because advertising and rights fees are what pays everything going on. Your seat is just the money that's stuck inside Stephen Ross's couch. That's like, oh, wow, Rosendo's ticket money. Let me clean my ass with it. That's basically what it is. So for those of you out there, please don't think your ticket prices are that important or your attendance is that important. They've rigged it in a way that the attendance is not the important part of it. It's all about television revenue and advertising and stuff like that. That's what it's all about. Just so you'll know. If it was up to your ticket prices, yeah, they wouldn't be making nearly as much. That's for damn sure. Yeah, the Messi one, no doubt. That could help Rosendo out because limited seating, they've got to blow up the prices. That they're trying. In fact, I don't think there's anything the Moss brothers can do to make this money back. They don't have enough seats in the stadium to be quite. I don't know all the math behind the scenes, but I'm going to take a wild guess that the Moss brothers are taking a monster loss this year and next year until they get to the new stadium where they will have more seats and more suites and more chances for revenue streams and things like that. I would imagine that they're losing some money at this point in time. You know what I mean? Once they get, they will, when they will start making money? When sports and business collide. We like doing something called the KSDT CPA, Sports Business Report. So I told you, because it ain't your seats. The seats, that's pocket change for the Moss brothers. But here's why they're probably losing money, but eventually they'll make their money. Following the debut of Messi for Major League Soccer and Apple TV's season pass, it has now surpassed 1 million subscribers. The Argentines' debut in the 2-1 victory against Cruz Azul, in which Messi scored in the 90th minute the winner, helped Apple TV achieve an additional 300,000 customers from the announcement of his move to Miami. According to the Sports Business Journal, however, this figure includes those who received MLS Season Pass subscriptions as a package deal for their club season ticket purchase. The arrival of Messi to America Soccer is viewed as a landmark moment for the country, as the 2022 World Cup winner's international pedigree as one of the greatest players in the sport will hope bolster TV ratings and attendance for MLS fixtures, that is. When Messi signed his reported 2.5-year deal worth $120 million, it also revealed that the Argentine would receive a percentage of all MLS season pass revenue contributed to him. Although this has yet to be confirmed, Apple is in the first year of a $2.5 billion broadcast deal. $2.5 billion. You want to know how they're paying for salaries? Exclusively streaming on all MLS games on its Apple TV platform. So I would imagine that Apple is going to have millions. Now they have one, but they will end up with millions of subscribers when it's all said and done, because you look at what Messi is doing now. That's how they make their money. Subscribers, platforms, all of that. It'll help out to have more seats. It'll help out to have more suites, but it's all about TV revenue, man. TV revenue. Your seats will, probably pay for, the Moss brothers to buy another car or something. But maybe in this small stadium, they got to rig the tickets a little higher. But at this pace, the way Messi's playing, that's going to be the hottest ticket in the country. Not just South Florida, the country. Okay? People and stars are flying in from all over the world to see that guy play. That is some crazy stuff, dude. The amount of revenue that they're going to generate is just absolutely sick. Let's see. Big O, if you leave the show early, I am leaving early too. Messi effect. So let me get into that stupidity yesterday. Okay. So last night, and I thought, Tata Martino, by the way, I got to say something about Tata that I've watched a couple of his press conferences. He handles the media really well, even in difficult questions. Like yesterday, I don't know who asked the one about, hey, did you notice that people were leaving after Messi checked out in the, 78th minute, 77th minute, 80th minute, whatever the hell it was. And so a lot of people started leaving after that. And then somebody asked Tata about that. One, Tata shouldn't give a shit about that, to be honest. You think the coach is actually, it's a silly question from the media, to be quite honest. And the agenda behind it is just absolutely garbage. Okay? This is the same thing as Miranda Lambert, bro. The same goddamn thing. And I'm going to stay as consistent as a mofo as it gets. What did I tell you about Miranda Lambert? All right? Her sorry ass was complaining because some of her fans that are paying $700 a ticket to be in the front wanted to take a selfie of them with Miranda Lambert singing behind. And she stops the concert because she was bothered by them. Those people are entitled to take a selfie and do whatever the hell they want to do. Hey, dude, as long as you're not throwing objects at the singer, but if you want to check your tweets, your threads, if you want to take a selfie, if you want to take a video, if you want to take a picture of the crowd, bro, do whatever the hell you want. You paid for the ticket. And last night, for you idiots in the media that want to make anything out of this, it's a Tuesday night. Let me explain to you, because some of you, including some of the media that are there, are fucking clueless. Okay? It's Tuesday night. You need to go home. You might live in Miami. You might live in Palm Beach or Hope Sound. And you got a drive home, and you still got to work tomorrow. It's up 4-0. Messi and Robert Taylor have put on a show. The game is over in the 80th minute. You think they're coming back? Drake Callender stopped a PK. What's there to watch? And so you're trying to make the people that leave look bad? Brother, they paid a lot of money to be there. If they feel like leaving at halftime, that's their right. And if they feel like leaving after Messi performed, what was there left to see? After Messi left, it was like the wind came out, it disappeared, the sails died, and you're not moving in the ocean anymore. I mean, so you're going to make something out of nothing? Who cares? Only media members that need to find something to complain about bring shit like that up. Okay? Because it's ridiculous. It's a Tuesday night, dude. They paid for the ticket. They went. What more do you want? They supported. They paid for parking. It's a freaking nightmare to park there. It's a nightmare to get out of there. Why are you going to wait to the 90th minute and everyone leave at the same time from that nightmare area to play at, to park at? Because let me just tell you, while it's a beautiful stadium, the Moss Brothers did an awesome job. When it comes to logistics and parking in that place, it sucks. Okay? It's horrible. So it's 4-0. It's a Tuesday night. Anybody that makes this an issue, brother, you're just a negative media member that just wants to write and talk about negative shit. How do you even bring that up on a glorious night that you have advanced to the knockout round? You have won your first 2 games in the League Cup. Not only did you win, you kicked Atlanta's ass last night. You made them look stupid last night. And somebody's going to complain about fans leaving in the 80th minute of a 4-0 game on a Tuesday night when I'm sure, all those people that paid a lot of money for those tickets, do you think they work for a living? Yeah. How do they pay for those tickets? They work for a living. It's honey, it's 9-something. It's going to take us an hour. Maybe we got to go get something to eat. It's going to be 11 o'clock by the time we get home. Let's leave now. Messi put on a show. He went to the bench. Let's go. How am I going to fault anybody for doing that? And for that to be one of the first questions for Tata Martino, it's embarrassing, dude. It's embarrassing. Talk about Robert Taylor. Talk about Messi. Talk about the continuity that even Twellman was talking about it. They've had 5 practices and they look like they're more in sync compared to Friday. Talk about that. Talk about what a disaster the first half of Friday was and how much of a better first half you had. Like there was a little bit of shakiness in the first couple of minutes and then the rest was much better. Talk about Drake Callender, who's been absolutely outstanding all year long, by the way. Talk about that. There's so many good things to talk about. And you got to come out and talk about, well, the fans are leaving in the 80th minute. Really, dude? Really? That's what you're worried about? This team has, the owners finally broke through, got some big-ass names to come here. We got the biggest name in the history of soccer over the last 40 years, or 30 years, let's say. And this is what you're talking about? These are the things that sometimes drive me crazy. So to me, when I heard that question, I was like, really? This is what you're talking about? After all the great shit that's gone on the pitch tonight. They advanced in the League's Cup. Their season actually all of a sudden now could turn out, even if they don't make the playoffs. Okay? But they win the League's Cup and somehow they can win the U.S. Open Cup. This would be a tremendous season for Inter Miami. Incredible building blocks, because we all know, those of us that follow this shit, this is a tease. This is nothing. Can you imagine when all these guys are in shape and they know each other's game? Jordy's not even here yet. Can you imagine when they're all in shape, all in sync next year? And the 20-year-olds haven't gotten here yet. And they'll add another piece or two to the puzzle because the Moss brothers are not going to be stopped. It's like it's the dumbest thing in the world that this is why sometimes people in our business get a bad rap, because we do stupid and ignorant things like this. We're going to ask a coach about where you focus on fans leaving after Messi went out. Why would he give a shit about that? So, it's amazing. Trent Krager, you always get the idiot. Nobody cares about soccer. Yeah, I know, bro. It's there's a million people subscribed to Apple. 300,000 just jumped on for Messi. The place is going crazy. Tickets are going more expensive than any other ticket in town. Of course, nobody cares. Listen, Trent, do me a favor. Do yourself a favor, my brother. Do yourself a favor. Clearly, you're a dumbass mofo, right? But the best thing that you do is not to open your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Because when you open your mouth, then we all end up finding out, hey, Trent is one dumb ass mofo. Because it's a league that's grown to 30. It's a league that's averaging more per game than the NHL and NBA. But hey, nobody cares. Of course not. That's why they all clamor and they're watching the premiership and all that on weekends. That's why they have all kinds of interest in international soccer. And now local soccer is also taking off for us in South Florida. But in Seattle, they're, drawing 40, 50, 60,000 a games. I get it, man. You don't like soccer. Okay? I understand you don't like soccer. That's fine. You know what I mean? But you're at least don't like soccer and don't show everybody that you're stupid. That's kind of just say, hey, I'm not a big soccer fan. I have no interest in it. You don't have to say nobody likes soccer because millions are attending and billions are watching. I don't know if you know that, but the game on Friday night was watched by over 1 billion people. But nobody cares. Of course, because it's the number one sport in the world. So I get it. Some of you out there, you got to learn to keep your mouths shut because then you expose yourself. Just like our boy here exposed himself on how freaking stupid he is. So just say you don't like soccer. That's all. You're better off that way. When you say nobody cares about it, stars are flying from all over the world to come see the guy. Yeah, nobody cares about Messi at all. Nobody. It's just the whole world watching. Inter Miami's Instagram has gone over 10 million followers. 9 of them came because of Messi, but nobody cares. So it's just one of those, Trent, that you're just kind of better off just being quiet, bro. We get it. You're stupid. Oh, it'll be nice to see Inter play at the Hard Rock with 70,000 screaming fans. It could happen if they get to the finals of the U.S. Open Cup. That they talked about playing the finals there. Frankie says, wait, I have a question, Big O. If you say Inter Miami wins this cup and the other cup, it means something, but the NBA tournament is relevant. Don't you think we see the NBA tournament like, no, not at all. NBA is nothing like soccer at all. We're used to the FA Cup. We're used to the US Open Cup. We're used to the UEFA Champions League. We're used to having other tournaments, the Gold Cup. We're used to having those tournaments. That is a part of soccer. Creating tournaments. That's a thing. So now we have the Leagues Cup, which is the MLS against the Mexican Professional League, which, by the way, the MLS is beating the Mexico League head up. I want to say by 2. I want to say it's something like that. I want to say it's like 6-4 or 7-5 or something like that. But anyway, so no, not at all, Frankie. We don't care about the regular season in the NBA. The regular season in soccer means something. You know what I'm saying? Now, FA Cup and US Open Cup, that's up for interpretations, right? Like, if you're an established team, you don't really take the FA Cup that serious if you're an established team, you don't take the U.S. Open Cup that serious. You don't really play your best players all the time, don't you? Right? So that happens sometimes even in soccer. But in Inter Miami's case, the reason why I say the U.S. Open Cup will be important to them, they haven't won anything. And for them just to get to the playoffs, it's going to be really tough. They've got to practically run the table. And that's maybe they could do that, but it's hard to ask them to do that. So that's why I say that it's a little different that for Miami winning these cups at this moment, because you're such a neophyte of a team and you haven't accomplished anything, I think it's important. That's why I'm saying it. But basketball regular season, it's an absolute joke. Always has been for a long, long time. Cap for Life says Commercial Boulevard cares. I was stuck in that traffic for hours, bro. Messy him. F what you heard. No, I'm that's why I was saying that yesterday. That was just ridiculous to even bring that up or make it a deal. You know what I mean? All right, let's rock and roll. Let's start it off, baby. Matt Verderame is ready. Let's step in to the huddle. Sean? I think Sean is stuck here or something. Sean fumbling? You lost the open? What's going on?
Confused. Are we doing the okay.
Oh, I got you. All right. So quick break and we'll be back with Matt Verderame. Let's do it.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
To the huddle with the man, the myth, the legend that is Matt Verderame. How you doing, Matt? Good afternoon, sir.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You concerned about Chris Jones holding out with your Chiefs there? He wants Aaron Donald money there, buddy.
Yeah, on one hand, he kind of deserves it, doesn't he? I mean, on one hand, you say, hey, look, the guy was the best defensive tackle in the sport last year, and he's been second fiddle to Donald for a long time. On the other hand, Donald's contract is such an outlier compared to everybody else's that you say, well, where does Jones fall in that range from Donald getting 31 and a half, and Quinn Williams at the next size 24? So where does Jones fall? Now, I would argue that Jones falls to the high side of that. It's probably, I think 28 is probably the right number. Maybe it's a little bit higher. But I'm not surprised that he wants close to 30, if not 30. And I'm not surprised that the Chiefs are digging in here. Okay, in the end, I still think if you're the Chiefs, what are you going to do? You're not going to pay that guy? Like, Tyreek Hill was one thing. He's on the offensive side of the ball, Patrick Mahomes. Chris Jones is your defensive Patrick Mahomes. If you don't pay him, that thing doesn't work. And I'll tell you the other part of this, and you know this from being in locker rooms. If they don't pay that guy, Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, who are on very team-friendly deals, are going to be sitting there going, why are we leaving money on the table? Like, we're not paying him or Tyreek Hill. What's going on? Tyreek, you understand if you're those guys. You get it. Chris Jones is a whole nother animal. If you don't pay that guy, I think there's some very hard conversations going on in that locker room. So I think they will pay him eventually, but they're at an impasse right now, and it's tough to predict exactly what's going to happen.
I wonder how far apart they are at this point. That's really the real question. What's the difference? What do they think he's worth right now? And obviously we know what Chris Jones thinks he's worth. And again, he's the only guy in the NFL that you could like, okay, let's have a discussion, him and Aaron Donald. Like, even though you're going to say Donald is better, but you at least can make an argument for Chris Jones because he is such a force that is unlike Donald. It's just one of those guys that are they change the entire face of the game when they're playing. And so it's a screwed up situation because he is one of those guys, dude.
I just don't know if you're cheat. And the one other thing too, because I've seen a lot of people say, well, it's like the Tyreek thing. There's one huge other difference.
No. A quarterback can elevate others.
Correct.
And you can get other receivers, and plus you have a great tight end that is really your other number one guy. So you can do things with a quarterback and other. Look, Joe Montana, everybody talks about, oh, yeah, no, he had Rice and Taylor and he had Dwight Clark and all. But then they forget the first championship that was Freddie Solomon, as his wide receiver. And he had like Greg Cooper as his running back. It wasn't Roger Craig, by the way. No. It's one of those things that like people over kind of looked at and they say, oh, yeah, dude, but remember his first championship? It was really only Dwight Clark that was kind of like busting through at that moment to become an elite tight end. Outside of that, there were no other elite pieces that he had on the offense, and he won. And so when you have a great quarterback, you can elevate others. If you miss Chris Jones, I'm sorry, dude. The next guy is not even going to be half of Chris Jones.
Not in the stratosphere. And I think the other part of it, too, though, the point I was going to make was that the calendar is different. When the Tyreek Hill thing happened, that was in March. Everybody had cap space. Right. Nobody has cap space right now. So, like, let's even say the Chiefs are like, we want to trade him because we're not going to sign him. Who are you trading him to? I mean, I'm not saying there's nobody out there, but I'm saying you would have to find the team that has the space, that has future space, that is willing to then give you a litany of draft picks and then also pay him $30+ million a year. I mean, that's a hard thing to do any time of the year, let alone in July, late July. So I still think the most common sense thing is the Chiefs move, maybe Jones moves a little, but in the end, if you're Chris Jones, you don't want to play on a 1-year deal. Things happen. You don't want to do that. If you're the Chiefs, you don't want Chris Jones potentially walking out of the door for nothing after the season. So I think the smart answer for both sides is to eventually just go, okay, let's figure this out. I think they will, but every day that he's not there is another day where you go, well, could it turn ugly? That's possible.
What'd you think of the Saquon Barkley after, all the talk? You kind of folded quickly. Yeah. And listen, I get it. There really nobody has leverage anymore at running back. There's no such thing as unless he really held out. That was really the only leverage he was going to have because you may not be old enough. You might have been really young at that time, or maybe just born. But when Emmett held out in the 90s,
that was 5.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Dallas got.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm sure you do because you're a historian. But Dallas got their asses kicked in the first 2 games, and it was like, oh shit, we're in trouble.
And they paid him.
And they came right back to the table and gave him the money. And I think Saquon could have had that effect, to be quite honest, because
I agree with you.
This quarterback isn't even Troy Aikman. He isn't even close to Troy Aikman. And yet they were struggling without Emmitt Smith because they could not run the ball the same way. It's funny how people always say, well, Emmett had a great line. And then, but you don't remember when he held out? Like, you forgot that he was great at Florida. You forgot that he owns all the Florida records at Escambia High. It's, there's always this kind of, convenient memory that people have about others. But Saquon, like, really, he's the one guy that really could have leverage, because Jacobs is in the middle of a rebuilding situation with the Raiders. So they're not going to be any good anyway. So his impact, but the Giants with that young coach, you just made the playoffs, all that stuff. Saquon holds out for real. You probably could have put them in a big hole and really sent your message. So what did you think of Saquon kind of folding so quickly and really settling for the tender, $900,000 more? No big deal.
Right. You got incentives. What surprised me was, okay, look, I get it. Once the franchise tag deadline pass, you can't get a multi-year contract. So you're getting what you're getting. I mean, once you sign, you're coming in. Okay, fine. You get the incentives. What I was surprised, though, about that thing was, why didn't you make sure you couldn't be tagged next year? I mean, you could say the Giants are just going to sit there and play hardball. Okay, then fine, make them. Then make them play hardball. Like, make them do it. Because that's the one thing about running backs, beyond all the stuff we've been talking about, that tag is nothing. They could tag him again next year. If he goes out and is 1,500 yards and is an all-pro, guess what's going to happen? He's getting tagged again. That's what's going to happen. Like,
oh, dude, by the way, he didn't sign the tag, right? Correct?
Yes, but it counts against him, though. It counts that he used.
Count as one of the tags they've offered, so they only have two more left. Okay.
Correct. But they can tag him again. I would have thought if he was going to sign that deal, they should have included, you can't tag me anymore. Now they can tag him again. So he got some incentives, which, by the way, are all tied to the Giants have to make the playoffs. They don't make the playoffs, and this all goes up in smoke anyway, to my understanding. So I don't understand, if you're Barkley, why you cave so fast. And I'm with you. Look, they pay Daniel Jones $40 million a year. You and I have talked about this. That contract is insanely dependent on a lot of other guys playing well around Daniel Jones, which is why they just gave Andrew Thomas a fortune, okay? They know that if Andrew Thomas is not great and Saquon Barkley's not great and Darren Waller doesn't come in and play really well, they got a problem, because they just paid a guy $40 million who his best year was 3,200 passing yards and 15 touchdowns, okay? I mean, that's like 2/3 of the season for guys like Burrow and Mahomes and Allen and Hurts and so on. So I look at the Giants and say they were the one team I thought of all the running backs who were tagged that maybe they'd cave with Barkley because he's just so uniquely important to them. But they didn't. But now they don't have to, because now they could just tag him again next year if they want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that it was just kind of weird that they would give up all that leverage. He would give up all that leverage, especially since, I thought he actually had some.
He did.
I thought he really could burn I think he was in the right position to burn a team that has a lot of hype coming in. They got to get to the playoffs again. You're in New York with that media, all of that. I thought he could have really done some damage. But again, I kind of get it. If you're a running back right now, it's a scary position because they're not folding for any running backs right now. Nobody has made a team, nervous or anything like that, or buckle. And so right now, running backs are, they are in a bad situation. All right, what'd you think of the Herbert extension? No trade clause, $100 million the first year, averaging 53. All of that stuff. What'd you think of that deal? That was, I got to give the agent a lot of credit. They negotiated one hell of a deal, and they got a no trade clause.
Yeah,
that is huge, bro.
I mean, if you're Herbert, you're set up. You're feeling pretty good about yourself here for the next 7 years, because you got the 2 years left on the rookie deal, and then you got the extension. So you're good for the next 7. If you're the Chargers, you're happy about the fact that A, you've locked them up. B, you have rolling guarantees, which means that essentially you don't have to put all that money into escrow right away, which is something that was going to be a hurdle for the Chargers. I imagine the Bengals are going to try to do the same thing with Burrow when that time comes. Right. He's now the highest paid quarterback. That's going to last about 8 minutes until Burrow gets paid, because Burrow is going to overtake him. And that's the way this goes. We know this. Look, I thought the deal was, in terms of the average value, I mean, you knew that he was going to come in right around there. I had talked to agents over and over and over who said 60, 60, 60. I mean, okay, you're going to want 60, but the reality is these teams aren't going to go from 51 to 60. So he gets a little bump over Hurts, over Lamar, guys who signed this offseason. I thought, the $100 million right off the bat was the thing that I said, wow, That was the surprising. I mean, because I think 80 was the previous record. So 100 million up front. Like, wow. Okay. I mean, that was the showstopper.
We're talking Dean Spanos.
I know. Well, but here's my question. They paid Herbert, and we've talked like they had to pay Herbert. They have to, just like the Bengals have to pay Burrow, right? Like we knew this was. My question is now, do they pay anybody else? That's the question. I know when the time comes, the Bengals are going to pay Burrow. They have to pay Joe Burrow. If they don't, they might as well be contracted. But Mike Brown talked a couple of days ago, and I'm paraphrasing, but essentially said Burrow is the heart of the matter, and then everybody else, there's going to be a little less. Well, you think Jamar Chase can take a little less? Jamar Chase, he's taking a little less.
No.
What I
will tell you is they will not sign the other guy. They're not going to have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. No, they're not doing. See, Stephen Ross is a crazy son of a bitch. He'll cut the checks. He doesn't care. But Mike Brown and Dean Spanos are not going to be cutting checks like Jerry Jones and our guy here, Ross would do. Certain guys are going to do that. And then there are other teams that are just not going to do that. And that's where I think that's where I think those guys are going to end up realizing, okay, it's great I got my money, but I'm looking around and I'm not getting the same kind of support. And guys are walking out the door and getting deals in other places. You know what I'm saying?
I'm fascinated. Like now that Herbert's deal is done, I'm fascinated to see what Burrow's deal looks like. Because I want to know, does Burrow just say, look, I want to be the highest paid, I don't care. I want $55 million a year. Or does Burrow go the Mahomes route and go, you know what? I want my money, but I want it over a 10-year stretch. So we can flex every year, because that's the only way they're going to be able to afford everything.
You don't treat the Hunts the same way you treat the Browns. And his agent's going to know that. And he's going to say, no, we need to get our money now.
I would always side with you in the sense that guys want their money. I mean, the Mahomes contract is an outlier because of the length, right? I mean, it's just Mahomes got his annual value. Mahomes got, now $45 million now is like a complete bargain, but at the time it was a record-setting value. But the length is what gives it such flexibility. I'm curious to see if Burrow signs into the length, or if Burrow says, I don't trust that they're going to surround me the way I need to be surrounded. And so 5 years sounds good. And my guess is it probably will be 5, and it'll probably be 55 a year. And
bro, you got the Hunt family and you got Andy Reid.
Right. It is a different situation. I agree.
It's a whole different ball game, bro. When you step into, the Spurs and Popovich, or the Heat and Riley, or there are just certain franchises that as a player, you're going to say, okay, yeah, I can sell myself out here because these people compete with or without me. It's not about me. It's about that franchise just wants to win. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in the right place. And that's where Mahomes, and by the way, if you watch quarterbacks, you get the sense that he loves being part of Chiefs Nation. And all that stuff. You know what I mean? And he loves the stadium and he loves everything about it. So you could see why he would sign that kind of a deal. You know what I mean? And I think it's very Tua and McDaniel like. Mahomes gets there and he has the perfect guy to teach him, to mature, to develop him, to help him, all of that stuff in Andy Reid. Tua went through hell with Flo, and he knows what a jerk looks like. Now he gets McDaniel. He's like, wow, dude, this guy is like, a player-friendly guy that he gets it. So Mahomes just went into the perfect place.
Yeah.
I think, the Bengals are going to be forever on double secret probation because of Mike Brown. It's just the way
here's the other part of this. So let's be honest. I mean, Jalen Hurts signed his contract. It was 5 years. Lamar Jackson signed his contract 5 years. Herbert just signed an extension 5 years. When Russell Wilson signed his extension, it was 5 years, which Denver now, which probably was 2 years, but it was 5 years. Most of these guys, Allen's 5 years. Most are 5 years. Most of them are 5 years. Mahomes' deal is such an outlier. A couple of them are 4. Dax, Daniel Jones, but They're right in that range. And so if you're Burrow, I'm absolutely hedging that's where it would go. I just, if you're the Bengals, and again, and we started to talk about the Chargers. And I think it's true of them too. Like, I know you're going to pay your quarterback. You have to pay your quarterback.
You have no choice.
Are you going to pay the guys around? Like, let's say Rashawn Slater goes out and has 2 all-pro caliber seasons next year. Are you going to pay him like Trent Williams? Or are you just going to go, yeah, that doesn't sell enough jerseys for us? Are you going to, like, next year, the Chargers are massively over the cap. They're going to have to move on from Eckler, move on in all likelihood from Khalil Mack. Allen or Williams is gone, one of them, if not both of them. Like,
right.
How do you build that team around that guy? That's the thing that I'm watching for with these teams, because you can sign the quarterback. You can always sign the quarterback. Do you keep the guys around them, or do you just say, yeah, now that we paid you, we're good? That's the key.
Yeah. Look at Flacco. You ended up paying him in Baltimore,
right.
And then you couldn't pay everybody else, and then a whole bunch of defections happened, and you weren't the same team again after that, And Flacco got on his own run, and, kudos to him, 11 touchdowns, no interceptions. That was a great run for him. But he also had all the other pieces around that kind of balanced everything out. And then all of a sudden, everybody else wanted to get paid, and they had to go elsewhere. And it just changes, the game. And so it'll be interesting to see. Although, here's the funny part that I keep hearing from people, and you just said the key point. Wow, Herbert's getting paid, and Tua's watching. He's not getting paid. Well, actually, Herbert hasn't gotten paid yet, and neither has Tua.
4 years.
But at the end of the year, if Tua gets his extension, guess what? They'll both get paid at the same time, because they're extensions. They're not happening right now.
Correct.
Okay.
That's the one thing I will say. And for people out there, just keep note of this, because I get this all the time on Twitter. Whenever I talk about somebody getting an extension, people are like, well, that's it. Chargers capped out now. It's like, no. Their cap numbers are still the same. The Chargers won't be paying Herbert a big number for like 3 more years. Okay. Right. Because you have the 4th year of his rookie deal, his 5th year option. Then the first year of the extension, the number will be lower than all the rest of the numbers. So his next 3 years are all going to be relatively cheap. Then in the 4th year, that's when the number goes boom. Okay. That's where the Bills are right now with Josh Allen. Like Josh Allen, now that number is starting to climb. And he signed the 5-year extension right when right after his 3rd year. So for a guy like Josh Allen, his number was not necessarily, in fact, not necessarily, it was not big for years. Now, all of a sudden, so if you look at his cap number, just as an example, it was 10.2. Then last year it was 16.3. This year it's 18.6. This is the last cheap year.
Right.
This is before the extension. Now the extension kicks in $47 million next year. Right. Goes from 18 to 47. Right. So now with the Bills, they structured his extension in a way that it's going to hit right off the bat. I mean, he's going to. And
by the way, to the Bills' credit, they've been honest with everybody about what's coming. Like they've very their fan base, like, hey, our purse strings are going to get a little tighter here as the whole thing. So I give him credit for that at least.
And I want to correct. I said earlier, he signed a 5-year extension. He signed a 6-year extension. I forgot. He signed a 6-year deal. So, but the point, I want to be clear, the point is this is the first year of that extension. So the first year of the deal, the number's still low. That's typically the structure in the NFL across the league. Next year, that's when it blows up. And then he's pretty much locked in no matter what for quite a while. I mean, the first year, if something catastrophic happened that they could really move off, it was like 2026, and they still need a lot of money. But yeah, the reality is Herbert will still be cheap for another three seasons. It's that 4th year when the money starts to skyrocket.
It's just stop it already. Well, they're getting paid and Tua's not. No, they're not getting paid. It's an extension. They haven't gotten paid.
Down the road.
Tua will kick in the same time as Burrow. If after his 4th year, he has to sign an extension, it's only 1 year later that the extension will start after that. And it'll be 3 years later where the big number will come. Yes. But that's just kind of the way it is. But it's, it's not such a big thing. Quarterbacks. I finally finished the whole thing. Did you finish the whole thing?
I watched it.
I'm going to tell you something weird because, everything we do is full of testosterone and machismo. Yeah. What stood out to me in that entire series were the women. the wives, bro.
I agree in a lot of ways.
And let me tell you something. The one that's married to your quarterback is the one that a lot of people pick on. And because, whatever, she's kind of out there on social media and all that. But one of the things that I will say, and I'll respect her for this big time, is she ain't no gold digger, bro. She didn't jump on the bandwagon in his senior year in high school when he had 40 offers and, let me get on the gravy train before it becomes gold. No, dude, they met in middle school. He chased her. So, that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? And then when I look at Kirk Cousins' wife, man, she's a freaking rock. And then when I look at Mariota's wife, who has to reset every other year or every year because he's going to be in a different city, to me, that's what stood out, is the other person attached to all these people and what they go through, and then the support base that they have to be for their guys. That to me really stood out in quarterbacks.
There's no doubt. I agree completely. And I think, a lot of times people don't think about the fact, like when these guys get cut and they sign on somewhere else, you don't think about the actual, like the behind the scenes part of that. Hey, guess what? Your kid's in school. That's tough. You're either not going to see your kid now during the season, or you're going to transfer schools and you're going to move your whole life. I mean, that's, okay, you're a single guy. That's one thing. Okay. You know what? Right. Fine. You got a family, like Mariota in the show just had a kid, right? I mean, that is, hey, guess what? You're going to play in Philly now. See ya. Like, that's where you're going. I mean, and with Mahomes, I will say, I have never understood the vitriol toward his wife. His brother, I understand why people.
His brother's
a whole nother story. Okay. I'm never going to defend his brother. But his wife, the people are like, well, she's really loud and in support. It's like, well, she's his wife. I mean, she goes to the games and roots. I mean, seems like a good mother. And I don't know the woman personally, but yeah, you're right. I mean, I think, and it's funny. I don't know if you've ever seen their prom photo. That is an all timer.
Yeah.
If you ever see what he looks like at prom, she was the catch in high school. Let's just put it that way. Okay. Yeah. And so, no, I think she gets a lot of undue crap from people where the brother is, fine, whatever. You want to
forget the brother, but I got no issues with her. I got to tell you, no issues with her. After watching that, I got nothing but respect for her, man. You know what I mean? I'm a huge fan of Kirk Cousins' wife.
Sure, absolutely.
Wow, that woman's a rock.
I thought it was cool. They showed after the Vikings lost their playoff game, like Kirk Cousins went home and sat down and read his kids a book, right? And it's like these guys are people. I mean, they're in the spotlight in a way that, I forget, there was one part in the show, Mahomes and his family. It might have been when they were like playing like that, the game they're trying to like play a carnival game. They're tossing something into it, and like she got it first, and he was embarrassed, and he threw a football through the little cutout in the wood piece. And it was funny because there was nobody else around them. And I'm like, that's because they probably shut that whole thing down so they could go, and it's crazy when you think about it. They can't live normal lives. They can't do it. I mean, and if you're Brittany Mahomes, like you didn't sign, you signed up for that in the sense you're married to the man. But like when you were 15 and you started to, love the guy, you didn't sign up for that at the time. You didn't know that your whole life was going to be, hey, you can't go to the grocery store because you're going to have a horde of people coming up to you and your kids, right? I mean, it's a crazy life that they live, and I thought the show did a good job of kind of displaying that.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. By the way, my boy Kadarius Toney injured again, bro. Jesus Christ,
it's unfortunate, but it's not.
I'm a big fan of Kadarius Toney. I think his talent is special, but brother, he's brittle. Jesus Christ, dude.
He got hurt like minutes into practice.
I know. Yeah. All right, what do you got going on Sports Illustrated so folks can check you out?
So, speaking of Kadarius Toney, I've got a column that I was asked to write coming out on Friday about the Chiefs and Toney, but really more of a look at like receivers and how important they are to winning Super Bowls. And I'll give a little teaser for this. I went back and I looked at the last 30 teams that have won the Super Bowl. Out of those 30 teams, would you like to venture a guess how many had multiple 1,000-yard receivers? And they don't just be wide receivers. It could be tight ends, backs, just multiple 1,000-yard pass catchers.
I'm going to go the Rams and San Francisco back in the day maybe had 2 1,000-yard guys. Well, not maybe, for sure the Rams. And I think Roger Craig and Jerry Rice, maybe even Taylor got over 1,000. So I'm going to go those guys. I'm just going to go those. What else? What do you got for me?
Well, of the last 30 teams dating back to the 93 Cowboys.
Oh, well, no, the San Fran wouldn't be included in that.
Yeah, right. There's only 6 teams that did it. Only 6. Because my point was you have Kelsey on the Chiefs, who's good for 1,000 every year. And then it's like, do you need that second guy? Ironically, the 2 times that Mahomes hasn't had 2,000-yard receivers, he's won the Super Bowl both years. Because the year that Hill was there, Hill was hurt early in the year. He missed like 5 games. He had a shoulder injury. So he had 860 yards in 11 games. But it's fascinating. Right. The point was, ironically, two years back-to-back that it happened was Denver. Both years with Elway. McCaffrey and Sharp did it one year, and Rod Smith and Sharp did it in another year. And then Falk and Bruce. I think the Colts with Harrison and Wayne.
I knew they had it.
The Eli Manning did it with Akeem Nicks and Victor Cruz. And I'm blanking on the other one right now. But my point is, Brady, 7 Super Bowl victories, never did it. Never had 2,000-yard guys. So the year
they did it, that was the year they went undefeated, and they didn't win it.
Yep.
Because Welker and Moss went over 1,000 yards each in that year, but they didn't end up doing it.
And it's fascinating. So I went back and I looked. Really interesting. It definitely shows you that the corollary is much more who is your quarterback than who are your receivers. Now, hey, doesn't hurt to have those receivers. It's nice to have Hill and Waddle on the outside, but it was just very interesting to look. Like if you have the great quarterback, you typically like Rodgers, Breeze, Roethlisberger. None of those guys ever had 2,000-yard receivers on the team. So when they won a Super Bowl. So it's very, very interesting.
Funny because you say that, right? And then, Tyreek's been talking about getting 2,000 yards this year. And I'm saying no shot. If it happens, something went wrong with the Dolphins this year.
I agree with you.
The coach said, I need to run more. He admitted he didn't run enough in games that he had. Then he's also developing offline tight ends because he has 3 tight ends that can block and catch, right? And then he's got these 2 that are experiments because since he doesn't have the one guy, he tried to trade for Darren Waller last year. That couldn't happen. So clearly they want a Kelsey, a Kittle, a Waller type, but they couldn't get it, right? So now they've got these 2 young kids. One of them got injured, Tanner Connor, already, but Tanner Connor and Higgins, the kid that they drafted in the 6th round this year, those 2 guys are playing offline tight end. So they're trying to create a catching position on the tight end side, and then they have the 3 blockers that can also catch, but they're not dynamic. These 2 kids are dynamic, but they don't know if they can play. Plus, he wants to include the running game more, and you got Braxton Berrios, who is probably – ideal, perfect for a slot guy. I just think they rounded out the offense so much more that, and you added A-Chain, which I know they're going to give him 5 to 10 carries a game and they're going to pass him the ball. So, there's no way he gets 2,000 yards. If that happens, something went wrong.
A lot of guys got hurt, probably including Waddle. Because you got to get the ball around. Yeah, no, I agree. You don't want him to have 2,000 yards. You want Hill to have like 1,500. And then you just move the ball around. That's when they're at their best. But no, I think it was interesting. Obviously, I gave a little more than a teaser there, but hopefully people will read it. That comes out Friday. And then next week, I think, August 4th, it's my birthday. So whenever I think it's Friday, next Friday, I start my training camp tour. So I'll be going to Chicago, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Detroit, Minneapolis, Green Bay, and Kansas City. I'm looking forward to it. And that'll keep me busy for quite some time. So we're going to have a lot of content coming out with my byline on it. So make sure to check it out.
Follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderame and catch his work there at Sports Illustrated. Matt, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you immensely.
Take care.
You got it. 30 seconds. Michelle Kaufman joins us next.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Thanks.
All right, there we are, ready to go, ready to rock. Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald last night. Man, that was pretty special, Michelle. 4-0 win. Excitement was through the roof. The Taylor kid must be on cloud 9 right now. That was a lot of fun last night, man. It was a completely different first half compared to the other first half from Friday night too.
Right. Yeah. Well, there was a little difference. There was this little number 10 guy named Messi, a little Argentine man, started this game. I'm hearing the question now, is MLS that bad or is Messi that good? Messi is that good. Messi is that good. And we're seeing it that he's not just hype. He really is. He's transformed this team on and off the field. This is not the same team that it was. This is not the same anything. It's Jorge Mas said there's going to be before Messi and after Messi, and this Inter Miami season is definitely going to be divided into the pre-Messi and the post-Messi. What he does on the field, for himself and for his teammates. And like you said, Robert Taylor, for him to score the way he did with Messi helping him out on one, they're all thanking their lucky stars that Jorge and Jose Mas and David Beckham were able to pull this off, because this team is completely different. And even though they're in last place, they have possibilities now. They have possibilities, and they have won the 2 games in this tournament so far, the group games, and won very convincingly yesterday against an Atlanta team that, by the way, is in 7th place above the playoff line. So, this is a last place team, destroyed the 7th place team, 4-0. So it's really impressive. It's really impressive what Messi has done for this team, and Busquets too.
Yeah, and they're not even, they're all not in shape yet. Jordi Alba's not here yet. The 2 20-year-olds aren't here yet. So it's like it's only going to get better as it goes along. You know what I mean? Busquets, although yesterday he had a couple of ugly turnovers. But again, he's got to get into form also. But Busquets has made some amazing passes.
The first goal, Messi's first goal was a long pass, over the defense from Busquets. It was a beautiful, perfectly placed, perfectly paced, perfectly placed ball. And they're not in shape yet. They're not. I had talked before about there's going to be a transition period. They have to get used to the league. They have to get used to the heat and humidity and all that stuff. Messi, I was shocked. He played 78 minutes yesterday. He started and played 78 minutes. And he was running and he was moving. And yes, he was sweaty.
But he was very intelligent. No, but I watch it. He paces himself. He doesn't run just to run
all the time. Right.
It's very deliberate the way he does it out there. And so it's not 80 minutes of him playing like Gregory or something. It's really where he's picking and choosing when to attack. And so, but I am, by the way, I was still surprised that he was in the game. When they scored the 3rd goal, I was like, take him out already. When they scored the 4th,
I was a little worried about him getting injured. Yeah, I was a little worried about him getting injured. When it was 4-0, he was still in there for quite some time. I'm like, okay, they're winning 4-0. Like, why even risk? We can see what can happen. These injuries. Look what just happened to Ian Frey. Not even a contact injury. One bad move, one bad twist of the foot, and you lose the guy. And so much is riding on him on and off the field for the team and for the league as a whole. So I was surprised that he stayed in as long as he did. I really was. I thought he was going to come out earlier.
And by the way, look, maybe they can make the incredible run to get to the playoffs. It's going to be hard, but right now you're so alive in these tournaments, and I think these tournaments are so important to start building something for this team. So whether you make the playoffs or not, you got to try to win this Leagues Cup and win the US Open Cup, put some trophies in there, but also build up. We're already watching the young players and the other players on this team. Their confidence is already getting, it's going sky high now because of what you've added already, because now you've got the monster on your side. So you can see confidence is growing. But with the success, I think it's really important to send that kind of message and really try to win these tournaments if you can.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it would be, like you said, the confidence of the whole team is so high. You've got Leo Messi as your teammate now. That's got to make you feel. You go into a game knowing that you have Leo Messi and Sergio Busquets on the field with you. That's already going to make you more confident as a team that, hey, do we have a chance to win this game? Hey, we've got Messi and Busquets on the field. I mean, yeah, we have a chance. So everyone's confidence is better. Everyone elevates their level of play because they want to impress him and they want to show that they're worthy of playing with him. So, I think definitely every single player is elevated. Sometimes maybe the younger guys get a little nervous or make some mistakes around him because, his aura is that big. But in general, he's definitely elevated the play of everybody around him, and Busquets too. And then winning a trophy, any trophy, just something positive for this team that was in last place. There was just nothing to look forward to. And all of a sudden now you're in a knockout round. They're in a knockout round of this next Wednesday. They're in a knockout round of the US Open Cup on August 23rd. They play at Cincinnati in the semifinal. If they win that game, they're in the final. And if they're in the final, it is possible that game will be moved. That game may be moved to Hard Rock Stadium. So you're talking about big stakes, games now, knockout games over the next few weeks. And that's exciting for a team that's in last place. And they still are in last place. I mentioned this, by the way, I have a podcast now, competing with you, competing with the Big O.
Oh, there's no
podcast. There's no competition. The Big O is the king. No.
No,
We
not
have,
what I mean. We're all fans. We can all they can listen to all of us. So
they can listen to all of us. People are hungry for news about this team, so they can find us everywhere and keep listening to everybody. But yeah, the Miami Herald, we already had podcasts for the Dolphins, the Heat, the Marlins, high school sports, Greg Cody, and now we've added a seventh. It's called Inside Inter Miami. So anyway, be on the lookout for that. But it's this team. I've never seen so much excitement ever. I don't think it's maybe ever happened, at least in my 35 years in sports.
No,
so much buzz for a last place team. I've never heard a last place team ever in 35 years of sports writing that has as much buzz and excitement as this team has, with 1/3 of the season left to go and they're in last place.
I'll top that. Okay. Friday night when Messi hit that goal. Okay. And I can only have this conversation with you. I would have to go talk to like Jeff Rusnick and somebody else, and people like that.
Right.
The people that have covered soccer in this town for decades. Okay.
Yeah.
And you and I have been in moments. I've been in moments as a kid at a Strikers game watching Ray Hudson. I've been at moments as a Fusion announcer and covering the Fusion, just like you have. Miami FC, just like you have. We watched Miami FC take down a couple of MLS teams in the US Open.
In the US Open Cup. Yep.
These are great memories for you and me. Great memories watching the Fusion in the Western Conference Finals. Great memories watching Ray Hudson and Pele on the same pitch. That kind of stuff that has happened. But those are only memories for us soccer people. For the first time in the history of soccer in South Florida, whether it's Rex Chapman's 39 points against the Bulls or AJ Dewey's 3 interceptions in the playoffs, or we're talking about the Panthers run in the 96 playoffs and Lindsey with that amazing goal. For the first time, soccer has a lasting memory for the general public, because I think that Messi moment was the moment that soccer became something like what you and I have always wanted soccer to be, that, hey, it's being talked about like the Heat and like the Marlins and like the Panthers and like the Dolphins, where it's always been the redheaded stepchild kicked off to the corner. And I thought what Messi did on Friday night finally catapulted this sport to having a memory for the general public, something that has really never happened actually before.
Oh yeah, everybody saw that goal. But people who didn't even know anything watched that goal. Were talking about it. Were asking me about it. And you know what also legitimized it? I don't legitimize it is the right word, but yeah, in a way, LeBron James was there. Serena Williams was there. Kim Kardashian was there. It got a lot of attention on social media that, LeBron James and Serena are two of the best ever in their sport, maybe the best ever, whatever was Serena, best in their sport. And they were standing there with their iPhones, with their phones. I don't know if they were iPhones, standing there with their phones side by side. It was a great little picture. I saw some people tweeted it out. A picture of the two of them standing there when Messi went into the game, into that first game. Those two goats of their own were standing there with their cameras, like fans, like everybody else in the stadium, standing there taking video of Messi, because those two knew that they are in the presence of greatness. And that also helps translate it for the non-soccer fans, like, oh, if LeBron is impressed with this guy, this little 5'7" kid guy, if LeBron is impressed with him, and LeBron rode his, to Commercial Boulevard to watch that game, and Serena, with all the things she could be doing in her evening, she's over there watching Messi, and Kim Kardashian is there watching Messi, and this week Cabello is there, and all these people are showing up. That also says to the general public, this is cool. This is, if you want to be in on pop culture and you want to be in on the hot new thing, then you better be watching Inter Miami, number 10, Leo Messi. I mean, I think they all have probably heard of his name. They know that Lionel Messi is some famous Argentine soccer player that won the World Cup, but it didn't really resonate with them, on on American soil. But now all of a
or
sudden,
even South Florida, period.
Yeah. Right. That global star is now here in our midst, in our community, driving around on I-95 on Commercial Boulevard, playing at Drive Pink Stadium, maybe Hard Rock Stadium soon, Drive Pink Stadium. That speaks to the masses. That speaks to the masses. It's not just me, you, Jeff Resnick, and Hal Habib, and Dave Brousseau standing around talking about this soccer play and that, and our nostalgia, and Gabe Gabor and whatever. That's like this little club that we were in. All of a sudden now, and in a way, it's like, I always thought it was kind of cute and quaint. It was our little soccer club, and no one else really knew it, and no one else really cared that much about it. All of a sudden now, I am one of 500 people applying for a credential for these games. I mean, before I would just waltz in. I didn't even have to apply for a credential. Sometimes, like they knew.
You had 3 people writing stories yesterday for the Herald. That's maybe you got a second for the Fusion in the Western Conference Finals or something. I don't know. Maybe you got a call to go. Maybe, I don't know. But I saw
Greg Cody went to both games. Greg Cody went, and everyone wants to get involved. I will tell you, Susan Miller-Degnan, those of you who may know her from UM football, she wrote on Facebook the other day that she has been a sports writer for 45 years or whatever. And she said that covering that Messi game, the first game the other night, was one of the most fun experiences that she has ever had in 45 years of covering covering sports, never covered soccer, never paid attention to soccer. She went to that game and was so hooked I mean, she's been texting me, over and over and over about this team. She's really enjoying it, and you know how she is very animated. And
Yes.
she she signed up last night. She texted me and she said, "Michelle, you're not going to believe what I just did." And she said she subscribed to the
The
Apple
Apple.
TV MLS season pass. Susan Miller Degnan, who had,
Wow.
Susan Miller Degnan is yet just one more subscriber to Apple MLS season pass, which, by the way, Leo Messi will get a little cut of Susan's subscription.
Right. Yep.
But anyway, that is what everyone is calling, the Messi effect, that he has elevated, this team and this league into something that people who never paid attention before are paying attention. People who paid a little bit of attention are paying more attention. People who have always paid attention, like us, our heads are spinning and our heads are blowing up watching all this. But for a lot of people that have never in their life seen an MLS game or never even really watched Messi play, but they've heard about him, all of a sudden they saw it live. They saw that free kick win the game and the excitement, and then and LeBron was there and Serena taking pictures and videos. And then last night to see him score in the 8th minute and see him score again, and everything. I mean, he's elevated already in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Look what his presence has already done in 2 weeks. It's amazing. It really is.
All right, two quick things before you go. One really
Yep.
good one and one that pissed me off. One is
Okay.
calendar. Jesus, man.
Yes, let's not overlook Drake. Drake, without everyone's
Taylor-
talking about Messi and Busquets, we understand, but that guy has been the MVP of this team from last season, but definitely from the start of this season. Even through some of the losses they had, they would have been much worse without him, and some of the wins they had were because of him. He has had a spectacular season. Yes.
so awesome, man. And that PK stop yesterday was just
Yeah.
that was just like more icing on a beautiful cake already. Because I was telling a buddy of mine, because he was like talking about Robert, and I said, Taylor's been a guy that has flashed. Those of us that
Yes.
you and me, that actually watch even during the shitty first half of the season, you would see something from Taylor and you say, hey man, there's something there. Now that he's got more.
No, and he's
people
had
around
some
him
good
now.
goals. He's
Yeah.
he's had some impressive goals in the past. He has.
Yeah.
But now
Yeah.
he's got Messi. Now he's got Messi alongside him, Busquets. He's gonna really, he is happy. And Drake, when you saw Drake's reaction yesterday, Drake's a really quiet Zen guy, as you know. He's like, very mellow, does meditation and everything. For that guy to get that pumped, to stop that PK, you saw him after, he was like so excited. And part of it is they don't want to let they're Messi's teammate now, and Messi, he's doing all this for you. You want to do for him too. You know what I mean? He wanted that clean sheet so badly, and he got it. And yeah, let's not forget Drake Callender.
He's a
He's been
badass.
great since last season. He made top 3 in the league last year among goalkeepers, and he's having a great season. And now, he has some teammates that are going to help, take them on some kind of runs in these tournaments, and we'll see what happens when the league resumes on August 21st. It's going to be very interesting, very interesting.
All right, the one thing that pissed me off yesterday, because I just think
The fans leaving.
I don't know. It didn't piss me off. Pissed me off was asking the question to Tata. By the way, watching all of Tata's press conferences, I love how he handles you guys. I think he does such a professional job the way he handles the questions. But yesterday, asking him if he's not looking around for people leaving.
No.
And first of all, let me remind, maybe whoever asked might be a rookie in this town, maybe not somebody from here. One, it's a Tuesday night. Two,
Yes.
It's 4-0 already. The game's over. Messi's off the pitch. It's hell to park there and to get out. If you've ever been there, or if you haven't, when it's packed like that, it's not fun out there. So
my husband is clearing his throat. Dave, my husband, is clearing his throat in the background because he is a season ticket holder. My husband is a season ticket holder. And I always make fun of him, but he leaves with 5 to 10 minutes to go in every game, whether they're winning or losing. He always leaves because it is really hard to get out of there.
Okay, well, I might disagree with Dave on the tight game part. I might stay for that one, but he's
No, I've
genius.
called him. I've called him sometimes on those late goals, and I call him and I go, "Were you there or were you
Yeah,
already gone?" He's like, "Oh, I'm already on I-95." I'm like,
yeah,
"Oh my God, you just missed the most exciting goal."
right,
Yeah,
right. Well, but on a 4-0 game on a Tuesday night when it's hell to get out of there, I don't blame people. Even plus, they paid all. It's like the Miranda Lambert thing all over again. This woman stops her concert, and those ladies in front are paying $700 a ticket. If they want to take a selfie, let them take a selfie. If they want to check their Twitter or they want to check their messages or film a video, they can do whatever the hell they want. Miranda Lambert was way out of line. And anybody complaining about fans leaving is way out of line. They paid a lot of money to be there. It's a Tuesday night. They probably got to work, and it's hell to get out of there. I don't blame the people that left. What I do blame is media members asking about that when there are so many good things that happened last night. And you're not going to talk about all the good things that happened last night. You're worried about fans leaving? Come on, man. I mean,
yeah. I
uh,
did think they should.
we,
It
we
was a
saw.
lot of fans leaving. It did give the impression that they were just there to see Messi. And what about all the other guys on the field who are working their ass off? Yeah, I know it's their right. I've always thought as
Game
a
is
sports
over.
fan, I stay to the
It's
end when
over. But it's over. It's 4-0. There's 10 minutes left in the game. I don't
yeah,
blame them for leaving. What else are you going to see? Yeah, you paid tribute by paying your money and attending and paying parking and buying a beer and buying a Coke and buying a jersey or kit, whatever. I mean, you paid your dues already. If you want to leave on a Tuesday night, I kind of understand, man.
yeah.
I
No,
don't blame
I have a bigger beef. I actually, I do wish people had stayed a little longer and not made it seem like, oh, Messi's out, I'm gone, I'm out. I don't give a shit about any. Oops, sorry, I don't give a crap about any of these other people. You can bleep me out that part.
No,
Um,
no, we don't.
the one part that I roll my eyes at is when people in the media point out that at the start of the game they take a picture of the empty seats that are still there. Oh, look, there's no one here at this game. Yeah, but then 20 minutes later the place is, full, 19,700. That's the same as the Heat games. It's the same as, and especially during the week. Getting to a game during the week, especially from Dade County, or if you're coming from a long distance to get to Broward, to get there on time, if you had to work, you're probably not going to get there on time. You're going to get there a little late. And it is the Miami way. It's Miami time. It's South Florida time. I never take pictures of the crowd until 20 to 30 minutes into the game. That's when you see what the real crowd is, because I can always tell when you're sitting in the press box and you look out, and we're sitting way up high. When you look out into the parking lots, you can see a long line of cars that are still coming in at kickoff, and you can see people standing at the gates waiting to come in. So I think it's unfair to take pictures, 5 minutes, even people took pictures. Here we are, 5 minutes before the game. Look at all the empty seats at the Inter Miami game. Okay. But
And
then
by
what
the way,
about 20 minutes
gotta
into the game?
also you got to also understand that the ingress and egress in that place is a disaster. So
It's very, yeah,
it's going to take time to get people in or out of that place because
yeah.
it's just not
Yeah,
good,
so
dude.
on both ends, right? On both ends, I can see people arriving late. I understand why they did, and I wish they had not left the second Messi left the field, but whatever. But yeah, in both cases, at the beginning, at the end of the game, the real crowd and the real numbers or whatever is, from 20 minutes in on until toward the end of the game. That you look at that crowd, that was a really spirited, huge crowd, and there were a few, a couple of thousand seats, maybe 2,000 seats left. I think they announced 19,770 or something like that out of 21 or 22,000. So to get 20,000 people, 19,700 people in South Florida, 19,700 to go
Paid a
to a
lot.
game in any sport, big money in any sport on a weeknight, that's a major achievement. That's a
Yep.
major achievement. I've covered sports here for a long time, and I'm from here, and I've seen the University of Miami everywhere struggle with attendance, even when they have a great product to put on. So to get 19,700 people to pay those prices with no ticket under $100 or whatever and show up there on a Tuesday night, I think that's pretty impressive.
Damn right. I'm with you. All right. What do you got going on in the Herald so we can check you out?
Well, yeah, I'm writing today. I'm doing a follow-up on the game yesterday. I think, at some point in the next, I don't know when, Leo Messi will finally talk to the media. He's been here 15 days. He has not spoken to the media yet. I don't know if anyone has noticed this outside of people in the media, but we have definitely noticed that he's been here 15 days. All he's done is the sideline Apple, post-game comment as he walks off the field. He has not done any press conference yet, which would never happen in American sports, by the way. Any team brings in a brand new player, especially a player of that stature, 15 days in, there would have already been an introductory press conference, and that hasn't happened yet. So I'm hoping that that's going to be coming very soon and that we can talk to him and ask him his impressions of the league, of the team, of Miami, how he's feeling, everything. I'm dying to know. I know all the fans out there are dying to know, how does he feel? What are his impressions? I mean, I really, really want to hear from him. And we have not heard from him. So I think that's kind of a next big thing, is we're going to hear from him next at some point. And then they play. They play again on Wednesday. So that'll be exciting.
All right. Good stuff. Follow her on Twitter at Kauf Sports and catch her exceptional work there at the Miami Herald, and subscribe to her podcast there in the Miami Herald too, doing her thing there. Michelle, as always, thank you for taking some time. Appreciate you. Enjoy the soccer.
All right. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. There you go. The great Michelle Kaufman, always getting it done for us, man. Appreciate it. 4-0 win against Atlanta United yesterday. Messi with 2 goals. Robert Taylor with 2 goals. Messi had a couple of assists. Also, Kramashi had the youngster also had an assist. Drake Callender had the clean sheet, had 6 saves, including the stop on the PK. They now have advanced to the knockout stage of the League's Cup. So it'll be the round of 32. They win the South 3 group. So between August 2nd and the 4th, they will face the winner of the Houston, Orlando, and Club Santos Laguna group. Houston, by the way, defeated Santos last night in PKs. Santos Laguna will take on Orlando on Saturday at 7:30. Okay. So good stuff by Inter Miami last night. That was just absolutely awesome night last night. That was a lot of fun. You know what's really bad? Right now? Marlins world is really bad. And not because they've lost 9 of 10. Well, wait a minute. Where are they right now, Sean? What are the Marlins doing? Are they on their way to losing 10 of 11? Because I know that they started play at 12-something. Let me see what the score is here as I'm telling you this, because this is bad news for the Marlins. I mean, it couldn't get worse.
They're up 7-1 right now.
All right. They're up 7-1. Yeah. Thank God. Oh, yeah. Sandy's pitching today, too. So that's good. How about that? So this is how bad it is for the Marlins now. Okay. Inter Miami brings in Messi. So you've lost 9 of 10. You've dropped out of the wild card race. The imagination or the attention you had of people, that's gone. You got Dolphin football starting now. So all eyes will focus on Dolphin football. Canes is right around the corner, and you've got Messi in town. Major League Baseball decided not to sell the team to the Moss brothers. They decided to go with Jeter's group. And Jeter's group didn't have the kind of money that the Moss brothers have. Look what's happened so far. Okay, the Moss brothers, at one point or another, they were going to bring in stars. And they did it with Higuain. Now they took it to another level with Messi and Busquets and Alba and all this stuff. Okay, Major League Baseball may have screwed themselves royally by turning down Messi and selling it to Jeter. And now the Moss brothers, who end up bringing Inter Miami to Miami, they will end up dominating the summers, Miami will not get any attention. I'm talking about the Marlins if they don't spend. And they better spend because they're going to get lost completely in the shuffle. Because as this messy thing builds up, it's only going to build up more and more attention and steam. And people are going to be interested and they're going to look forward to the soccer season. They don't look forward to baseball season. That was their worst nightmare, what's happened in the last week with Messi coming to town. And as I've told you with Sherman and company, they've fallen out of the race. They talked about giving Kim Eng what she needed. Well, time to step up. You're out of the race. You want to get back into the race? Can you make a trade? You got to the end of the month because you're not going to make it on the waiver one. At the end of August, you're not that good. You're not going to get people through waivers and get away with that. You need to make it now on July 31st. Will you do it? Ultimate nightmare, Messi and Inter Miami for the Miami Marlins. Dead in the water. All right, let's do it. Joe Schad is ready to go with our essentialmovingexperts.com Miami Dolphins exchange.
It's time to talk Aqua and Orange. Miami Dolphins fans. Here's a man with incredibly high standards. In fact, he isn't impressed with Tyreek Hill's dominance, Jalen Waddle's speed, or even Teron Armstead's swag. It's the Essential Moving Experts Miami Dolphins Exchange with Joe Schad. When you're looking to move your home or business anywhere in the U.S. from coast to coast, call Essential Moving Experts at 305-602-8369. Flat rates and no surprise charges. EssentialMovingExperts.com. Call 305-602-8369. Let's talk football. Here's Joe Schad.
All right. There he is, fresh from camp. How hot was it?
Today was really good, Big O. It was, we were in the shade, and it was shady, and it was about 90. This is as good as it's going to get. This was wonderful today. And we got to give credit to the Dolphins. They set up some tents so that we can do post-practice interviews in the shade. Wow. This is very, very helpful. Kudos to Ann Noland and the Miami Dolphins for getting that done.
Well, that's good. So that way we don't bake out there like fries. Dude, your connection is very shaky right now. Let's do something. Sean, let's see if we can reconnect, knock out, and reconnect with him and see what we do here because I want to get a good interview with Kat. So let's reconnect with him there because it wasn't very good, the connection. Big O, are you concerned at all about any lingering effects from Tua's head injuries from last season? Do you think his play can improve? What was wrong with his play? He was up for an MVP. His play was exceptional. I'm not worried about his play. There are no lingering effects, Bug Mike. I appreciate you on the super chat. Thank you. Who else? Knight also. They paid a 0-1 playoff. Oh, yeah, we got that earlier. Thank you, Knight. But thank you, Bug Mike. I would not be concerned at all about it. Just got to play smarter. That's all. All right, I think we got Joe back. Let's see. All right, let's hopefully you sound a little better there. Okay, but at least you didn't sweat as much as you normally do. That's good stuff. Yeah, that they take care of you.
It will be sweating, but it wasn't too bad today.
What stood out in practice first and foremost for you today?
It was a short practice. It was a light practice. There was some 7-on-7. There was some 11-on-11. Zach Sealer was disruptive on the defensive line. Obviously, he's looking for a new contract. It was good to see Connor Williams back at center. After practice, he said, yeah, I was unhappy about my contract, but it's time to play football. It's time to practice football. Tua Tagovailoa did have a nice deep ball to Jalen Waddle. He tipped the ball in the air and then caught it. He was being defended by Javon Holland. You can see that play on the Miami Dolphins Twitter account. That was kind of the highlight of the day. Savon Ahmed had a few decent runs. There were too many drops, a little bit sloppy, a little bit of a wet ball out there. Tyreek Hill at one point dropped the ball and then punted it into the air. So first day, everybody's sort of just getting acclimated. I think that the Mike Hill, Skylar Thompson battle is one to watch. Obviously, Mike Hill is being paid to be the backup, but it's going to be really interesting to see who has the better training camp.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that battle too, to watch it in camp. I'll be there tomorrow. What did you think about Tyreek? I was actually very happy for Tyreek Hill. His quote, "It's been resolved. I just can't do boneheaded stuff like that." I love the honesty. I'm glad that he's not in denial. I'm glad that he's not blaming other things or making excuses, because he shouldn't. Because bottom line, he shouldn't have done something that stupid. He should rise above that. But I like that there was no excuses, and he kind of attacked it and laid on the sword and said, "Hey, man, it's on me." Period.
Yeah, it was important that he spoke with reporters today and got a message to his coach, got a message to his teammates, got a message to the fans. When the Dolphins acquired Tyreek Hill, obviously there were some off-the-field incidents that had occurred in his past. And so this is the kind of thing that Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer, and the Dolphins want to avoid, the unnecessary off-the-field distraction, especially anything involving lawsuits, physical contact, investigations that require the NFL to look at video. This is the kind of stuff that the Dolphins don't need, don't want. It'll be interesting to see. McDaniel said that he and the organization have had contact with the NFL, so we'll see if there's any discipline. Hopefully not.
Yeah, I'm afraid of a game at least. I really am, because of the past, and then the question really is, and this is what we don't know, and it's amazing that TMZ has not gotten a hold of that video. Is how clear is that video? You know what I mean? Does it show?
Yeah, but I heard someone saying it's not a great video, which is good for Tyreek.
Okay.
If that's accurate.
Right. Yeah. See, that's the thing.
I think if it was a great video, it probably would be on TMZ already.
Oh, these people look old school, bro. Because that guy didn't talk to the media. The video hasn't come out. I don't know, man. I just get the feeling that was an old school person that they were dealing with in that marina, man, because it was just kind of odd. So what's your gut tell you? Have you talked to anybody in the league, offices, or anything like that on the Tyreek situation?
No, I haven't, and they're unpredictable. So my gut instinct would be that he will not get suspended, but I know you have some fears that he might.
I do have, because of the past, I do have a fear that they could lay just a one gamer. I don't think it would be more than anything like that. And then now
if the video's not damning, and this guy doesn't talk to the NFL, those are two things in Tyreek's favor, certainly.
Yeah. Hopefully the video's not good, and he's available for that Chargers game. By the way, did you see Herbert he really hasn't gotten paid yet. Get paid. Gonna get paid. What do you think of that contract?
Yeah, I think the Chargers had no choice but to give a guy who has some of the best physical attributes of any quarterback in the NFL that kind of money. He was going to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL once it was his turn.
Right.
And Joe Burrow will become the highest paid quarterback in the NFL in the coming weeks or months.
And then next year, Tua will be the highest paid quarterback. That's how it's going to work. That's just the way it's going to work.
So I said to Tua today, do you think it's in everyone's best interest, everyone's, the club, you, everyone, to just kind of wait and see on this long-term contract and not kind of, shelve it, put it to the side for now? And Tua said, whether it's, now or later, I just want to be clear that that's the contract that I want to I want to deserve what I get. In so many words, I want to earn what I get. And when I spoke to Tua one-on-one recently, he talked about the importance of showing his team, his teammates, his coaches, and himself that he can get through the season. And so I think
Yeah,
that means finish and start 14.
But there's no now. He's not getting any contract now. He was never
Right.
getting any contract.
Well, a couple of things on that. Chris Greer said that he was open to long-term contract discussions. He said that in the offseason.
You believe that? You believe that they were talking contracts in this offseason? Really? You believe?
Well, I wrote in a column posted on the Palm Beach Post website just a few minutes ago that Tua wore a T-shirt that said "different" on it. And obviously Tua is different in a lot of ways. He's already said he's turned down the Netflix series Quarterback because he's private.
Yeah.
But I wrote that he's different from his quarterback classmates, Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, in that unfortunately he's not going to get the kind of guaranteed dollars that those two are getting, have gotten, and are about to get until he proves he can stay healthy. What makes him different is the injury history, unfortunately. And credit to Tua, he doesn't shy away from that. He takes that head on.
Yeah, of course, but there is no contract negotiations till next year when he actually, if he survives this year and proves that he can play smart and stay healthy, then they'll talk about a long-term deal and a whole bunch of guarantees and all that kind of stuff.
And that's in everybody's best interest. That's in everybody's best interest. No reason for Tua.
It's not a matter of the best.
Tua.
No, Joe, it's not a matter of the best interest. That's the only way it's going to happen. There's not going to be any contract talks now. They're not going to give him any kind of big guarantees. He has no leverage whatsoever. So it's a moot point now. Right now, there's no reason to talk about any of that. In his case, because of his injury history, he has to put in a whole year. And then we can talk about that at this point. So it's not about what's everybody's best interest. It's the only way it's going to happen, period. He has to prove first before the Dolphins commit. That's just the way it is.
You're not disagreeing with my point that it's in the Dolphins and Tua's best interest to not agree to a long-term contract at this time. You agree with me, right?
Yes, but my point is.
So you agree. So why are we arguing? There's nothing to argue about. You agree with my point.
You're stating the obvious.
All right, so you agree.
There was contract negotiations now. So to even talk about it and say what's in the best interest, it doesn't make any sense because it's going to happen down the line anyways. So,
Listen,
that's why.
If the Dolphins felt it was in the organization's best interest to offer a 3, 4, or 5-year extension in excess of $40 million, they would do it. So unfortunately, it's in nobody's best interest at this time. And I think kudos to Tua for recognizing that as well.
Yeah, I just think it's we're getting way ahead of ourselves talking about a contract deal.
No, we're not way ahead of ourselves because Justin Herbert just got $262 million. Joe Burrow is going to get more, and
Tua did not get injured.
$9 million, and Tua was making $9.6 million.
And if Tua did not get injured, he would be discussing and negotiating a new deal this offseason. He would have been negotiating one, but because of his injury history, that's all shelved. There is no talk. Dolphins have no interest in signing him right now. Period. At all. For $10 million.
Totally get it.
For $50 million, they don't want to sign him right now. It's kind of this is the same shit that happened with the Dalvin Cook stuff. Oh, Dolphins will trade for him. No, they won't. Oh, Dolphins will scoop him up the second he becomes a free agent. No, they won't. No, they won't. They're going to give him the deal that they want to give him, a team-friendly deal, and that's what they offered him, and that's it. It's the same thing. There's no contract talks at all with this kid, unfortunately. It would be nice to secure a future, but he's got to prove first before you're able to secure it. All right, so the Teron Armstead stuff, Isaiah Wynn stuff, are you concerned about any of those things?
I was able to watch Teron Armstead and Isaiah Wynn on the side today, and they looked really good. So no, I am not worried about those two being ready for the regular season. And in fact, I think they'll be off of PUP, as Mike McDaniel said, in the not too distant future.
Did they do any one-on-ones? How did any battles between O-line and D-line? Anything on Eichenberg and Austin Jackson today?
No, I mean, it was the first day. You know, there's no hitting, there's no tackling, there's no physicality. The running, yeah, no, it's
I
too
didn't know
early.
maybe if they had one-on-ones or something. I didn't know if maybe they even got to that point. I know it was going to be light today, but you never know. All right, you hear anything on the Dalvin Cook front?
No, just wait and see. It is interesting that it was reported that the Dolphins explored acquiring Saquon Barkley. This is interesting that the Dolphins maybe don't feel they have enough running backs. I don't know. I mean, maybe we should read something into that. I mean, yes, they have to do their due diligence on Saquon Barkley and Dalvin Cook, but maybe they really do want to add another running back.
I think there's a lot of people in the media, you might be included on it, who reported that Saquon Barkley thing.
New York Post and Pro Football Talk.
Okay, so they also are lost on this. Chris Greer is a low-hanging fruit guy. He's the guy that calls you up and says, hey, you got a disgruntled player. He's holding out. What do you want for him? Well, hey, listen, if you're interested, we'll give you a 6-rounder for him. And I think people haven't picked up on the fact that Chris Greer inquires about anything and everything that's available because he's trying to get low-hanging fruit. Again, kind of like the Dalvin Cook situation. He's not dying to sign Dalvin Cook. He's not dying to trade Dalvin Cook. But he'll give Dalvin Cook a small contract because he'll add Dalvin Cook to a team. But he's not killing himself to try to add Dalvin Cook. And I don't think he was killing himself to add Saquon Barkley. And if that happened months ago before the draft or anything else, just to kind of inquire, hey, so what are you doing with Saquon? And that's it. And once you're asking too much, Chris Greer's like, no, dude, I'm low-hanging fruit guy. I'm not doing that. I don't think people get this guy yet. And so
I think that makes sense.
You're going off like they want to get Saquon, and you still don't get Chris Greer either. He doesn't spend money on running backs. He doesn't send big picks for running backs. So what the hell would make you think he's going to spend big money on Saquon Barkley? Come on, man.
Well, Mike McDaniel's a different dude, and I think maybe Mike likes the idea of back like of that caliber. Remember though, I mean, Mike McDaniel has a big say in what moves Chris Greer makes.
You're right. You're right about that.
This is a little bit of a different deal with Mike.
Yeah,
what Mike says is going to have a bigger input.
See, the problem, I think the part where you and I are going to have a disconnect here, here's where Chris Greer's sitting down with him saying, I've got to pay Jalen Phillips, and I've got to pay Wilkins, and I've got to pay Steeler, and I've got to pay Waddle, and I've got to pay Holland. I can't pay Saquon. So that's where you and I disagree with when you see what's on the horizon and what they've got to pay. There's no way they would acquire Saquon on a short notice on a rent-a-player type of thing, but they're not going to give him a big. He's shown his cards that he's not willing to do that with running backs. He's not willing to pay, and he's not willing to give up big-time picks for him. You know what I mean? I bet you it even hurt him to use a third-rounder on A-Chain. I'm serious.
Yeah, once did it on Kenny and Drake. A-Chain, I think he's going to be a factor, man. He's got unreal physical ability.
Yeah, he's going to be a factor. I bet you he gets at least 5 to 10 carries a game, and they'll throw him the ball a few times too. But he's going to be
I think that's something to watch for. Raheem Mostert kind of gave us a hint on that yesterday. Without Mike Gesicki, I think the running backs are going to have an increase in catches, Mostert and A-Chain included.
I
So
agree.
if you're in a now it's tough with the running backs in fantasy football, but if you're in a PPR, that might bump up Mostert's value a little bit.
And remember, you have the Higgins-Connor experiment going on, the offline tight end. So that will determine how many catches the backs get. If they fail, if getting Higgy with it or Tanner Connor aren't good enough to play that offline tight end position that he's trying to develop, then more catches. You are correct.
By the
Go
way,
to
Tanner Connor is hurt and not expected back soon, so we don't know what that deal is. He was obviously hurt last year as well.
I think, Sean, didn't I say like 2 months ago that shit got hard for Tanner Connor with Higgins in there? You watch Higgins tape, it's pretty freaking good. He's way more polished than Tanner Connor. Tanner is a raw athlete that this kid knows how to play the position. So I'm very interested in that one, but you got to watch that offline tight end. But you are on to something because your other three tight ends are more blockers. They can catch the ball, but they're not dynamic. And that's why he's experimenting with the other two kids, because they're dynamic. So he's looking, since they couldn't get Waller, they got to get some kind of dynamic play out of their tight ends. That'll determine whether the back get even more catches or not, actually. So that is definitely, I agree with
Check out the story I just wrote about Tua Tagovailoa on the Palm Beach Post website. Guy named Jerry jumped on board yesterday. $1 for 6 months. That's a good subscription offer, and that allows you to read all the stories, even when they go behind the wall. So, I mean, listen, $1 for 6 months. It doesn't get better than that.
Follow him on Twitter at Schad Joe and catch his exceptional work there at the Palm Beach Post. Joe, as always, thank you. We'll catch up later in the week, my friend. Or next week. Thank you.
See you, bud. Okay, bye.
You got it. There you go. The great Joe Schad from the Palm Beach Post. That is our essentialmovingexperts.com Miami Dolphins report. And don't forget to call Sean Williams and the boys at Essential Moving Experts. They will take care of you. Long moving services, home moving services, long distance moving services, office relocation. Well over 1,700 happy customers have said they love the experience. Moving was never so easy when you call essentialmovingexperts.com. Sean's a great dude. It's going to be down for the scrimmage. I won't be able to see him. What is it, on the 3rd, I think, because we're going to be up in Canton. But he's got season tickets, comes down for the games, flat rates, no surprise charges. Their home base is in Daytona, but they handle the entire country. So it doesn't matter if you're moving from one state to another, within the city, within the county. Doesn't matter. Call them. 386-213-4054. Safe and efficient loading and unloading practices at all times. 386-213-4054 for essentialmovingexperts.com.
You've been listening to the Essential Moving Experts Miami Dolphins Exchange with Joe Schad. When you're looking for local, home, long moving services or office relocation, call Essential Moving Experts at 305-602-8369. Flat rates and no surprise charges. EssentialMovingExperts.com. Call 305-602-8369. Miami Dolphins fans, follow Big O Radio Show on all platforms to keep up with your favorite NFL team.
All right. We thank Joe Schad out there as always. By the way, Tyreek Hill, props to you, sir. Okay? Got to give you props because, you are a big boy. You put your big boy pants on. You didn't make excuses. You didn't point fingers. You did something really stupid at a marina. What was it, a month ago? Whatever the hell it was. And look, man, everybody's rooting for you down here. You've handled yourself perfectly since you've been down here. This was your, hopefully, only screw up. But you got to rise above all that kind of stuff, dude. And you got to set the right example. And, that quote, it's been resolved. I just can't do boneheaded stuff like that. look, man, I'm going to screw up. You're going to screw up. None of us are perfect. Okay? None of us are perfect. Anger sometimes gets the best of us. Maybe a situation that you didn't think you'd be in gets the best of you. You know, none of us are perfect, man. You're going to say something hurtful to somebody you love. You're going to do something that you didn't mean to do. You know, whatever. It happens. You're a human being. I am too. None of us are perfect. Neither is Tyreek Hill. Okay? And clearly, he did something really stupid that day. But the good thing is, it's not Antonio Brown, who's constantly pointing fingers and blaming everybody else. Okay? We see this all the time with people, right? The orangutan blames everybody but himself, right? This is how some people are. They don't take responsibility for their own actions. I give Tyreek some love there on that one. No excuses, no pointing fingers. He addressed it. No dancing around it. I got caught in a bad moment. No justifying it, no nothing. Lay on the sword. Admit what you did. It was stupid, and don't do it again. This is the best way we're going to get Tyreek to maybe never do it again. Listen, and it's not for us. Sure, we're all fans and we want the Dolphins to win, but in the end, it's for you, dude. You know, you're the one that's going to have to live with it. So if you keep screwing up, then you've got to live with it. You know, the Carly Johnson girl, she's screwed. Carly Russell, I'm sorry. Carly Russell's screwed now. She can apologize all she wants. She has to live with it. You know, it wasn't Manti Te'o's fault, even though most of us, I think, are smart enough to never get caught that way. But now he's got to live with that shit for the rest of his life. Oh, you're the dude with the fake girlfriend. You're the guy that got psyched. For how long? For 2 years, you didn't know that was a real deal? That was a guy? What is wrong with you? You know? So these are, sometimes it's out of your control in the Manti Te'o situation, in the Carly Russell situation, or in the Tyreek Hill situation. It's in your control. Right? Look at Freddie, what's his name? Ramirez, right? Freddie Ramirez. I don't know what domestic issue was going on between them. Clearly, it was a domestic issue. And I don't know if she was leaving him. I don't know exactly what the whole story was in there, but there's something dirty going on there between those two. So clearly, he screwed up in something. Something that he was willing to take his life. Well, he didn't end up taking his life. Now he lost his eye, and sure, he's going to lose his job, right? Now you got to live with this for the rest of your life. The mistakes you made, I don't know if there's some problem within that relationship or whatever, but these are things that we all have to end up living with. And so Tyreek Hill has already made some mistakes in the past. Now you add this one, and now people are going to look at you differently. So you had a clean slate here. Now the slate is no longer clean. So what's in your best interest, okay? You might hurt the fan base at the moment if you get suspended or you can't play or whatever. The fan base will be hurt for a short time. Eventually, you move on. New names come in. It's all about the Dolphin logo, not about the individual. But you then have to move on for the rest of your life, and you're going to have to live with those mistakes. So for Tyreek, I give him a world of credit for taking the bullet the way he's supposed to and not making any excuses. Now, young man, you need to follow up with the behavior. Now your behavior has to match your words from here on out. Because you had a clean slate. Now it's no longer clean. Now people are going to hold something against you the second you screw up again. So don't screw up anymore. Because you're the one that's going to have to live with it, not us. We only have to deal with the disappointment for a short amount of time. Okay? We can deal with the disappointment of Ricky Williams walking out on us. He's got to live with, oh, dude, you just left football because you wanted to get high. And so now he's got to carry that for the rest of his life. And that's a thing that Ricky will have to live with for the rest of his life. So Tyreek did the right thing, my man. Definitely did the right thing. Yes, sir?
The Dolphins throwback games have been announced. White jerseys, white pants on 10/29 versus the Patriots. They'll do the aqua jerseys and white pants against the Dallas Cowboys on Christmas Eve.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. I like it. Okay. All right. So we'll get that going. What else do we have going on? Hey, let's give you some birthdays and some music history today, since we always do that every single day. By the way, did the Marlins win it finally? 7-1? Yep, 7-1. All right. They got
complete game by Sandy.
Let's see. Yep, 9 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 7 Ks. Good outing, bro. Really good outing. What was I going to check now? I was going to check something else. What was I going to do? Oh, yes. Forgot. Let me give you a little birthdays and all kinds of stuff. Let's go first with the birthdays today. It's a decent list today, actually, celebrating birthdays today in the world of entertainment, music, all that kind of good stuff. All right, let's see. We start off with Sandra Bullock. She is 59 years old. Kate Beckinsale. She is 50 years old. Jason Statham is 56 years old. Mick Jagger is 80 years old. Queen drummer and singer Roger Taylor is 74 years old. Some giants celebrating birthdays today, man. Big time giants. Let's see, who else do we have here? Kevin Spacey, who just got cleared of I think it's like 4 different men that he sexually assaulted, and he was cleared today. He is 64, so on his birthday, he gets some good news in the courts. Helen Mirren is 78 years old today. I'm telling you, it's like it's like a impressive list today of folks celebrating birthdays. Stanley Kubrick, the director, born in 1928 on this day, no longer with us. We lost him in 99, but today would have been his birthday. And that's it. Hell of a list, actually, celebrating birthdays today. And in music history today, we start off in 2003. Limp Bizkit abandoned their set during the Chicago stop of the Summer Sanitarium tour, and after the crowd hurled plastic bottles at singer Fred Durst. Oh, stop being idiots. In 79, on this date, 2 years after it was originally released in Britain, the Clash's self-titled debut album received an American release. In 2000, on this date, Oasis were booed off the stage during a show at a festival in Switzerland after singer Liam Gallagher insulted the 35,000-person audience. They're a special kind of a-holes, those two. In 75, the Eagles started a 5-week run at number 1 on the album charts with their 4th record, One of These Nights. In 1992, on this date, Kiss guitarist Paul Stanley married actress model Pamela Bowen, in L.A. She filed for divorce 9 years later. In 1980, on this date, the Rolling Stones began a 7-week run on the top of the album charts with Emotional Rescue. In 86, on this date, Peter Gabriel had the number 1 song in the country with Sledgehammer. I wanna be You sledgehammer. All right. What else do we have here? Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. Always appreciate it. And you can make a Bitcoin donation. You know, we love our Bitcoin donations as always. So thank you all out there for keeping it locked. What else do we have? Tua is a guy people want to use to market their products. He's going to be able to make money away from football. That will allow him, like Brady, to take less. You want to win. In the end, you need to add winning to it and success. You know, they'll ride you the first couple of years because you're young, but eventually you're going to have to win. And then that's what makes you sexy. And especially if you win championships like Brady did, that'll make you ultra sexy. Okay. But I don't think it's something you should worry about. Oh, Google Helen Mirren when she was in her 20s. No, I know she's a smoke show. I know. She aged well, too, by the way. Give her credit. Helen Mirren even looked good in her older age. I remember she had like this pinup, right? She did like a tub thing, and she was like 50, and she looked amazing. So yeah, no, I know Helen Mirren has always been a looker, as they say. Oh, what else do we have? If we compete this year, I can see Greer trading for Henry by the deadline if Tennessee is below 500. Well, it all depends, man. If the running game is working, no, they won't do that. Why give away a pick for no reason at all? You know what I'm saying? So I would only think that if you're contending and you're injured at that spot and struggling, then I can see it. But I there's this thing with all of you out there that you've got to add running backs, and I disagree with that. I think it's more about the offensive line that has to come through. I think you have more than enough backs to win a title. Seriously, I believe that. But it's really up to your offensive line. If they can block, those guys can make all the plays. I love the A-Chain pick. What I saw in minicamp physically, and I don't have to see a ton of contact. I watched, a lot of stuff that he did at Texas A&M. So I see what kind of talent he is. But then looking at him up close, already has an NFL body. And if this kid is smart, then he's going to pick up things and he's going to have success early on in this league. And I think he's going to be used a lot. So I'm just not that guy that is so hung up like some of you that you have to have another running back. I just don't believe that. I'm more worried about left guard and right tackle. I know they like Eichenberg and Jackson, and hopefully Isaiah Wynn will add some depth, but I have to see it to kind of believe it. You know what I'm saying? I'll give Jackson a little love, like I've mentioned 100 times over. He was showing me something in training camp and the preseason before he got injured, but still not enough to convince me that he's turned the corner or anything, and neither Eichenberg. So I've got to see it, but they like him. They believe in him. So that's what I'm more concerned about. I'm not concerned at all about the running backs. I'm more concerned, have you settled left guard and right tackle? If you've settled those, then the backs you have will have more than enough success than you need for a championship. That I'm not even concerned at all. It's really about left guard and right tackle. That's where I'm completely different than some of you out there that are just absolutely hung on this whole running back thing. Music question From Brett, did you ever get to see the James Gang with Joe Walsh? No, I did not. And he has done some James Gang's concerts lately. I would love to go see that. My buddy went to see him do the James Gang stuff. And I've seen him do some James Gang songs because I've seen Joe Walsh in concert. So that I've seen, but I've never seen the James Gang. No, I have not, sir. Scotty, hey, Thaler. Greetings from P. Belisi's Sports Bar in Texas. Just watched the Marlins win. K. Cash did an interview, Kaka. When the Canes start 6-0 heading into the Clemson game, you can jump on the bandwagon. Well, I'm always on the bandwagon. I think that's some of you don't really understand the definition of a bandwagon. Okay, let me explain what a bandwagon is. Because Scotty, hey, Thaler, doesn't really know what a bandwagon is. Let me explain to you what a bandwagon is. Okay, we got a bunch of people that have never watched Inter Miami play. They don't even watch soccer. But all of a sudden, Messi's come to town, and now they're watching Inter Miami, and they're all into it now. That's bandwagon. Bandwagon is not a person that watches the Dolphins and the Canes and the Marlins and the Heat and Inter Miami and the Panthers every single game and every single year. That's fan. That's a hardcore fan. There's no bandwagon for me. I'm on it already. Whether it's winning, it's losing, it's mediocre, whether it's got Dave Wanstead running it, whether it's got what's it called? Randy Shannon, Al Golden. You know, I didn't think they were going anywhere with Manny Diaz. Those are clowns, but I'm on that bandwagon because I'm a fan. Some of you out there really don't understand what bandwagon is. Bandwagon is somebody that gets on something that they don't follow. And that all of a sudden they started following it for whatever specific reason. Okay? Like people complaining about folks leaving after Messi left the pitch. Well, guess what? Half those people are probably Argentines that don't give a shit about Inter Miami. They care about Messi. They love Messi. They pray at the altar of Messi. They saw Messi. They don't care about anything else, and they left. There's nothing wrong with that. That's their right. So some of you out there, like Scotty, hey, Thaler, don't really understand what bandwagon is, and then you use it in a way of describing something, and you're not describing it the right way. Okay? So now, Scotty, if you want to say, oh, I know you're not a believer of the Canes winning the ACC or, going to the playoffs. Apparently you are. That you can say that I'm not a believer of them being a great team this year. But bandwagon, no, because, when you're always watching it, no matter if they suck. I was on there last year, right? Watching it, doing pre and post game show, talking about talking about the worst season in Hurricanes history last year. I got run over by the wagon. All of us got run over by the wagon because there's no wagon to be on. We were under it. So there you go. So some of you out there, you might want to learn the definition of bandwagon. Okay? I've been saying this since the beginning. We're not signing any more QBs. Injuries is what stopped us last year, and we just got a hell of a lot better. Exactly. True Fin fan. Stop with the, hey, Thaler. Oh, you know why I say that? Okay. I'm gonna tell you why I say that. Okay. It's a promo I have. It's just I have all these promos that we never ever use, and it's funny because let me see, where is it here? No, it's not here. It's see. I think it's here. So let me tell you why I always, because when Scotty Sailor, and I always say, "Hey Thaler," so God, he was on Saturday Night Live. Now I'm trying to think of his name because I'm going to need his name in order to remember the promo of it, because I've got all these promos, you know.
Hi, this is quarterback Chad Henne here, and listen to the Big O.
That's right.
Hi, this is Chan Gailey, head football coach at Georgia Tech, and you're talking football with the Big O.
That's right. Thank you, sir.
This is Brandon Albert, and you listen to the Big O.
Thank you, Brandon.
Hi, this is Albert Pujols, and you're talking sport with the Big O on a sport radio, 560 W.
The biggest name. The biggest name.
Hey, this is quarterback Andre Woodson, and you're listening to the Big O Show.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Ann Wilson of Hart, and you're listening to the Big O.
Well, Ann, that was a special Big O.
Hi, this is Ann Wilson of Hart, and you're listening to the Big O.
Trying to think of this comedian that was in the era of Eddie Murphy, and he did a promo for me, and I'm trying to remember his damn name, and I can't remember his name, so I can pull it up for you.
Hi, this is Fran Drescher, and you're listening to the Big O.
Hey, this is Jamarcus Russell, and you're listening to the Big O.
Thank you, Jamarcus. Appreciate you. How's that purple drink? Oh, man.
This is Jake Long, and you're listening to the Big O.
Okay, well, thank you, Jake.
Hey, this is quarterback Joe Flacco, and you're listening to the Big O.
Oh, okay.
Hi, this is Joe Satriani, and you're listening to the Big O Show.
Well, thank you very much.
Hi, this is Jim Tressel, head football coach of the Ohio State University Buckeyes, and you're listening to the Big O.
Hey, this is Jenny Garth, and you are listening to the Big O.
Oh, my God, Jenny Garth.
Hi, this is Jeff Francoeur, and you're talking sports with the Big O on Sports Radio.
Hey, this is John Smoltz, and you're listening to the Big O Show.
Oh, Lord.
Hi, this is Leon Lett, and you're listening to the Big O.
Leon Lett. Oh, man, where's the 300 pounds of weed in your van? Oh, wow.
What's up, Miami? This is Lawrence Jackson, defensive end. You listen to the Big O Show in the morning.
That's right. You're listening to the Big O Show in the morning. How about Kenny Irons?
You're checking in with Kenny Irons, a.k.a. the franchise running back out of Auburn University. Hey, Big O, who the hell is Lisa Ranian? How you doing, family members, all my fellow fans and onlookers? This is Kenny Irons, a.k.a. the franchise, one of the best running backs right now coming out. Hey, you listening in on Big O Show?
Last guy did a promo for his show, though, got arrested.
For real?
I'm going to say this to the Big O at WQAM.
Hey, this is Michael Beasley, and you're listening to the Big O.
Michael Beasley. Oh, my God.
Hey, this is Michael Chiklis from the Shield. Me and Big O are going to be up next right here.
That's
560 QAM.
That's right. Well, thank you. Thank you. How about my cigar buddy?
Hey, this is Ron Rivera, head coach of the Carolina Panthers. You listen to the Big O Show, my cigar buddy.
You know, I used to smoke cigars. When I go to the combine, right, I smoke cigars with a whole bunch of people in the NFL all the time. So when Ron was an assistant coach, I've known Ron for several years. And so when he was an assistant coach, I would hang out with him, you know, for a couple of hours every combine. Once he became a head coach, dude, I it's like he was gone. He doesn't have the time anymore. Head coaches rarely hang out.
Hey, this is Rick Springfield, and you're listening to the Big O.
That's right, Rick.
Hello, everybody. Hello, I love you. This is Ray Manzarek of The Doors. You're listening to the Big O, a cool dude.
Thank you, and rest in peace, Ray Manzarek. We no longer have him with us, unfortunately. Man, I can't. I'm trying to think of his name. And no, it's not Joe Piscopo. It's not that old. He has like short brown hair. I'm trying to think of some of the characters he played, and so he did a funny a funny one for me. And I God bless, dude. Can't remember his name. So I'm just going through them and I'm trying to remember. Damn, what's his name, dude?
Hey everybody, it's me, Tom Arnold, and you are listening to the Big O Show right now.
That's right, Tom Arnold.
The biggest name.
Hi, this is Tim Hudson, and you're talking sports with Big O.
That's right. There we go. There we go.
The biggest name. The biggest name.
Oh.
Hey, this is Vince Neal, and yeah, you are listening to the one and only, the Big O. So crank it up.
Hey, that is Ingvar J. Malmsteen. You listen to Big O on the 640 Sports.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Wilmer Valderrama, and you're listening to my brother Big O on 640 Sports.
I'm his brother. I'm Wilder Valderrama's brother. Okay.
Hi, Cage fans. This is University of Miami running back Tyrone Moss. Now, don't touch that dial. I'll be joining the Big O Show next, right here, Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Rest in peace, too, right? I think we lost Ty. Now I can't find the damn. I'm trying to remember his name. I got a shitload of promos here, man. Ton of promos.
Harder. It's got to be done harder. And if it's done harder, then I think you can contain it for the most part.
Orlando.
Yes, sir.
My 5 a.m. in the morning guy. When are you going to get off that shift? Does it take 10 years, 20 years? What do they do? I see all these other guys on, they get to sleep in a little bit, for Christ's sake.
I was actually checking that. I'm the longest tenured host on the same hour slot than everybody else. He does it in his house. He goes down the hall. It's easy.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Ozzie Smith, and you're listening to the Big O Show.
I can't find the promo, but I played some other ones for you. What can I tell you? Not Dana Carvey, but it's kind of it's in that area. And damn, dude, I'm trying to think of some of his skits.
Is it Mike
And
Myers?
that's why I can't. No, it's not Mike Myers. No.
Hi, this is Paul Patton, and you are listening to The Big O Show. And ladies, The Big O means more than one thing, so you're going to have a blast.
Paula Patton says it. I mean, it's law when Paula Patton says it. Oh, how about this?
Hey, this is quarterback Kirk Cousins, and you're listening to the Big O Show.
Got Kirk Cousins to do one.
This is Kevin James from Here Comes the Boom, and you're listening to the Big O Show.
That's it, baby. Here comes the boom. I can't believe I can't find it. I mean, there's a shitload of them here. That's why. So I have to remember his name in order for me to really, get it going here. I'm sorry. I can't figure it out.
Hi, this is Jason Bay of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and you're talking sports with the Big O on Sports Radio 560 WQAM.
Hey, this is Jeff Tate from Queensryche. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big O.
Yeah.
The biggest.
Oh, no.
The biggest names.
Oh, no.
Hey, this is Coach Frank Martin, and you're listening to the Big O.
That's it. Oh, man. Oh, wait a minute. I think something triggered. I think it's in the C's. I think it is. Why do I think it's a C name? No, I don't see any that I don't see one here, unfortunately. I can't. Damn, dude.
Hey, this is Chris Lee, quarterback and MVP of the national champion Florida Gators, and you're listening to the Big O Show on Sports Radio 560.
This is Casey Blake, and you're talking sports with the Big O.
Casey Blake. I can find Casey Blake and Chris Leak, but I can't find that specific one that I'm looking for. That sucks.
Hi, this is Craig Biggio, and you're talking fantasy baseball with the Big O and Craig Mish on the Sports Radio 560 WQAM.
Craig Mish and I did a fantasy baseball show at a strip club for a season.
The biggest names, the best.
Oh, Lord.
This is Antoine Cason, cornerback, and you're listening to the Big O.
Yeah. I wish I could find it. But anyway, so it's specifically a promo that was made for me, and he says, "Hey Thaler," and then that's why I get the "Hey Thaler" from it, because he says it, and then he throws that whole thing out there, and then you're listening to the Big O and all that crap. So, but I tried to find it. I can't remember the guy's name. I have his face, like it's sitting there in front of me, bro. I'm seeing it, but I can't remember his damn name, and I keep looking through all of this stuff to see if I see it.
Hey, this is Manny Ramirez, and you're listening to the Big O.
I can get Manny Ramirez.
Hey, this is quarterback Matt Ryan, and you're listening to the Big O.
I can get Matt Ryan. What were you saying?
You don't remember what show he was on or where?
Saturday Night Live. I just don't remember, he's that movie that him and Will Ferrell are. That's it. That's the guy. What's his name? Not Will Ferrell, the other guy, where they go to the disco and they do this all the time. What's the name of that damn movie? That guy. Give me his name.
I think it's Night at the Roxbury. Night at the Roxbury.
That's it. Night at the Roxbury. What's the name of that guy? Fallon? Schneider? No, it's not Schneider. It's not Jimmy Fallon. No, it's not. Catan. That's it. Chris Catan.
Catan, yeah.
That's it. Chris Catan. Didn't I tell you it was with a C? Did I not say it was with a C? Damn it. How do I not pay attention to my own shit? Let me see where it's at. Let me see if I can find it now.
Hey, the Catan is spelled with a K. Oh, if that helps.
Yeah,
you
I know. Now I'm not seeing it here on this list of promos that I have, but I know I have more in another place, so I can check it out. Let me see here. Damn it. This sucks. All right. I don't know if I can find it now, but I mean, this is just terrible. It's taking me too long to do all of this anyways, as it is. Here we go. Here's the other area of it. Come on. Really?
This is Apollo Anton Ono, and you are listening to the Big O Show.
I can find Apollo Anton Ono. Seriously.
Hey, you. This is Kenny Powers, and you're listening to the Big O.
I can find Kenny Powers, but I can't find the Chris Catan one. And I'm telling you, I have it.
Hey, this is David Schechter. You may know me as Champ Kind from Anchorman. Hey, you're listening to the Big O. Oh, yeah.
Hey, this is Leah Thompson, and you're listening to The Big O Show.
Leah Thompson.
Hey, this is Megan Fox, and you are listening to my Point Break buddy, The Big O.
Megan Fox, you know.
Hey, everybody, it's Neil Slofkin here. You're listening to The Big O Show in Miami. Keep on rocking.
That's it.
This is Norris Cole from the Miami Heat, and you're listening to The Big O Show.
Damn right.
Hey, everybody, it's Rob Halford, the Metal God from Judas Priest, and you're listening to the Big O Show. Turn it up.
That's it.
Hi, this is Steve Gutenberg, and you're listening to the Big O Show, which I don't know what it is, but I was told to say it.
That is fantastic. Oh, Lordy. I should send you all of these things. You should do something with them, Sean, because they're just sitting there doing nothing, rotting away. All that hard work over the years. I've been around for 30 years, folks. So there's a lot of shit that's gone on in this whole damn thing. So what can I tell you? But I wish I could find it.
Hi, this is Leah Remini, and you are listening to The Big O. Oh, I want a Big O.
One day I'll find the Chris Kattan one, and then I'll share it with you guys if I can actually find it one day. So, apologies, but that's where I got it from. So that's why I always use the Hey Thaler, and I will always use it. Anyway, Eddie Murphy was early 80s. You threw us off when you said Eddie's Run. Wasn't it like wasn't he at the end of there in the Eddie's Run thing? Wasn't he like late 80s, early 90s guy? I thought he was right there towards the back end of the Murphy Run. So, oh well. Ann Wilson sounded hot, said Troy. She's got a great voice, dude. She's always had a fantastic voice. I mean, her voice is golden. Jeff from Long Island says, so sad Sinead O'Connor, acclaimed Dublin singer, dies. Really? She passed away today? Wow, I didn't know that. She was a different person. I'll say that. All right, we're out of here. We will see you guys tomorrow afternoon, right at this time at 3:00. We'll be out at Hialeah Park like we always are. We thank Matt Verderame. We thank Michelle Kaufman, Joe Schad, of course, the man, the myth, the legend that is Sean Stanley. He's the one that masters this entire platform every single day. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.